Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm supposed I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here.
You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
Look at that as well. Gang, great to be with you. And episode 616, lot going on, lots of stories. Over the weekend, it was nonstop. The Epstein thing didn't stop. It was back to back to back, more people trying to apologize and saying, you know, what's the big deal type of thing they're trying to do to people. And then eventually, Tom, we can hear that. Eventually, Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, is now ready to reveal the truth of the pedophile client list, saying insider so. Why are Republicans blocking her? There was a vote this morning. Was it this morning or yesterday? When was the vote?
I think it was yesterday.
Late
last night, they voted, and Republicans voted against the Epstein Files to be released, which is very, very weird because this is what they campaigned on, and Democrats are now voting for this to be released. A lot of people are extremely confused, to say the least, but I have an angle. I have some thoughts on this, and I'm sure the crew does as well. Ocasio-Cortez slammed over defamatory Trump Jeffrey Epstein post, sue AOC into bankruptcy. This is a New York Post story. Trump threatens 100% tariffs on Russia. This whole tariff thing is going back and forth. One of the ones that's very interesting is the president is pissed. Trump's Brazil tariff threat is a part of a bigger geopolitical dispute because of what they're doing to Jair Bolsonaro. I actually like that angle. We'll talk about that. Behind Trump's decision to tax Brazil to save Bolsonaro, for you coffee lovers, those of you that drink coffee, coffee prices climbed after Donald Trump threatens Brazil with 50%. Massive crisis. I have a lot of friends who love Brazilian coffee that were calling BetterHelp their therapist yesterday and having conversations.
Switching over to tea.
Yeah. So Secret Service officials were aware of classified threat 10 days before Butler assassination attempt. Failed to tell agents guarding Trump, and Vinny, as usual, good point, saying it's interesting, out of all the speeches Trump gave, the only one CNN showed up to was the one in Butler, somehow, some way.
Weird.
Yeah, very. MAGA isn't buying Pam Bondi's explanation on Epstein's video footage. FBI's Dan Bongino clashes with AG Bondi over handling of Epstein Files. There's a bunch of stories talking about the fact that people are stepping down, and even one where Kash Patel came out and tweeted about the fact that he's all these conspiracy theories, nobody's stepping down. I'm going to be here to serve him until he asked me to step away. Tucker Carlson at Turning Point USA rips Pam Bondi for wrecking Trump's devotee career. He had a lot of other things to say. That's just one of them. Palm Beach is trying to capitalize on this Mamdani guy, telling people that they're putting a plan together to attract out of those 123 billionaires that live in New York that are sick of the stuff that's going on in New York. Palm Beach is trying to say, we'll take care of you here. Come over here. Come home. Come home, baby.
Come
home,
to,
puppy.
Come home to
Come
Papa.
home, puppy.
We miss you.
We miss you. We miss you. Anyways, if you know that, you're above 40 years old. Come to Florida, Pablo. Pablo, honey.
Hello.
JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon scolds Democrat idiots obsessed with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Real estate inquiries by wealthy New Yorkers into Florida properties jumped 50% after Mamdani's primary win. Biden says he's made the clemency decisions that were recorded with AutoPen. There's a story by Breitbart that talks about that even, Biden apparently says that he never approved the AutoPen signature for Fauci. Fauci's not happy about this. He's about to go vaccinate Biden, and it's the last vaccination. It's not the good kind of vaccination. Nope. This is a joke, folks. I just want you to know, but we will read the story to you about what Biden says. Obama making first fundraising appearance since Democrats' 2024 losses, and he went to Jersey, not because he's a Nets fan. He went there because they desperately need him. Jersey needs him. ICE, people not happy. They're saying, we don't like these videos, Mr. President. Even though you campaign on immigration, even though you campaign on cleaning up the streets, we don't like seeing this separation of, family and all this other stuff. Not good. And Ana Navarro said white people don't know what it is to be her because she's wiser than them. She said this to one of the guys on the panel that says, you're a white male. You don't know. Now imagine flip it on the other side. You're a Hispanic female.
You could be racist if it's towards white people.
But you can't.
100%. Cracker.
I've actually heard that.
Desperate parents are spending thousands and flocking to southern state for the sake of their children. And Tom is not happy about the story because Tom wasn't able to save that money on this story here, but he'll give his insight. Jamie Dimon has a blunt message for Europe. You are losing. He would have been better if he would have said, you're losers. But no, he said, you're losing. Is he innocent? Call you losers. He said, you're losing. We're going to talk about that story. CVS, Walgreens, Macy's, and dozens more bracing for 15,000 store closure this year amid brutal retail calls. Okay, 15,000 stores closing. We'll talk about that. Unsold homes surge nationwide as housing market stalls. John Jones, this is maybe at the end, if we have some time, we'll go into the story. John Jones is tickled over possible White House bout. Can you imagine fighting at the White House? UFC, Trump is saying he's going to do a UFC thing there. And I think it's going to happen next year, 2026. And some are saying Conor McGregor may come back to fight Mike Chandler. It's finally going to happen. And John Jones may come back.
Really?
It's going to be a spectacle. Luka Doncic, not LeBron James, gives heads up about Lakers sale. So LeBron is pissed off. He's trying to be traded. At this point, I'm sure there's maybe one or two teams that wouldn't mind picking him up. Minnesota transgender softball pitcher left out of all state selections, and Adam's upset about it. So he has a lot to share on this one.
In the morning.
He was not happy about it, and I said, Adam, stop, go to sleep. You can talk about it tomorrow on a podcast. So we're going to let him talk about it. Supreme Court allows Trump to proceed with mass firings at education department.
Woohoo!
And then maybe we'll get into the Megyn Kelly, Ben Shapiro conversation. Newsom was on Sean Ryan's podcast. Actually, very interesting clips on what he talked about.
His fingers and hands were everywhere, Pat. His hands were...
Every time I watch Newsom now, I think about you. That's all I think about.
Thank you.
And by the way, folks, Elmo was at the office yesterday, and he sat down with our HR manager, Vincent Oshana, and it was a very intense conversation.
It was very intense.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Anyways, before we get into it, yeah, right there. Telling Elmo, I'm like, what is the what is all these tweets about? And Senna was like,
Senna was shocked.
Dad, what's AIPAC? I mean, my daughter shouldn't be asking me about AIPAC, and I have to sit there and explain what all this stuff is and who funds Adam's salary. I mean, we don't want to go through these types of situations.
Senna, you'll be receiving a letter in the mail pretty soon for a donation.
Yes.
To Uncle Adam over here.
Shoot, maybe like a recruitment. They start early, Doug. They're like, we gonna get third graders converted.
What's the favorite nation? A donation.
So, anyways, hey, so the future looks bright hats that are the ones that never stay on the shelves, and you guys ask for more of this style. Is the future looks bright where the phrase is on the flipping hat. This is now, these hats, when you see these letters coming out, they don't stay a long time. And these new ones that we have, the black is a navy blue.
That's navy blue.
And white typography. It is absolutely sick. They're not numbered. Well, we didn't order a big supply of them. We ordered a limited supply of them, so it's going to be a first come, first serve. Going to go out. We got the Miami color one. The future looks bright. This one's absolutely sick. When you look at this on the inside of it, Rob, if you can show what that looks like. Right there on the back end, yeah. And then we have another one that's the gray and future looks bright with the American flag. And then obviously those of you that, the community that is just obsessed with the black on black on black, this is the black on black on black, future looks bright.
Well, give me the gray.
We call this the Chicago special.
No, Vinny, give me the gray one.
Yeah, the black on black on black.
All right, thanks. Mine now.
Yeah, the black on black is absolutely sick. But any one of these. So if you're someone that hasn't yet gotten the future looks bright with the phrase on top of it, go get one for yourself, get it as a gift, send it to someone, make someone's day, buy it for your sales team, buy it for your office. We are over 300,000 people now representing Future Looks Bright worldwide, and we're 700,000 away from crossing 1 million. So,
let's go.
All right, having said that, let's get right into it. You said you want to go through Ghislaine Maxwell first. We're going to get into the Ghislaine Maxwell story first. All right. Jeffrey Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to reveal truth of the pedophilia client list as insiders. So why are Republicans blocking her? All right, so let's go to this. Why are Republicans blocking her? Ghislaine Maxwell, 63-year-old, serving 20 years for child sex trafficking charges related to pedophilia, Jeffrey Epstein web of underage girls, is willing to testify before Congress with a source stating, despite the rumors, Ghislaine was never offered any kind of plea deal. She would be more than happy to sit before Congress and tell her story. No one from the government has asked her to share what she knows. She remains the only person to be jailed in connection to Epstein, and she would welcome the chance to tell the American public the truth. Controversy surrounds the Department of Justice claims that there's no Epstein client list and video suggesting the 2019 jail suicide, with a source close to Maxwell saying congressional hearings have been held into everything from JFK assassination to 9/11 JFK files rank up with those cases. Ghislaine would be willing to speak before Congress and tell her story, while President Trump posted on Truth Social. For years, it's been Epstein over and over again. Why are we not giving the publicity to files written by Obama, Crooked Hillary, Comey, Brennan, and the losers and criminals of the Biden administration? Vinny, your thoughts on the story?
I mean, 1 week later, from how crazy we were, and Adam, remember, Adam, you were saying how this is a story for crazy, stupid losers.
No,
well,
I just said losers.
Oh, losers. Well, I mean, sorry, I had a little bit more.
No. Just to clarify,
yeah.
I said people who are obsessed with this tend to be losers.
Well, did you see what happened, Adam? That week, for this past week, Google searches for Epstein, Ghislaine, this whole situation, you know how much percentage it was up?
I'm sure it was up
1,200%.
Oh.
Pat, can we play this really fast?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Is there a ticker?
Because these are all the losers. Show all the losers. Go.
What a massive, unforced error by the Trump administration. Donald Trump would love this story to go away, but in fact, interest is climbing higher and higher, to quote Jackie Wilson. Look at this. Google searches for Epstein.
Good or no? I'm on clips.
I can hear it. You can't hear clips. Play it again, Rob.
Jay, come on in here.
What a massive, unforced error by the Trump administration. Donald Trump would love this story to go away, but in fact, interest is climbing higher and higher, to quote Jackie Wilson. Look at this. Google searches for Epstein.
Jackie Wilson.
1,200% this week versus last. And get this, it is currently the top topic search with Trump on Google alongside his presidency. So Donald Trump normally, leans in his stories in which there's controversy, like tariffs, for example. Yeah. This is a story in which he's trying to get away from.
Just with everything that's happening, okay, let's just call it what it is. Something is obviously off. I don't know if the president's name is involved. And again, me and Adam had a conversation. When people think of underage, like pedophilia, you're thinking of those guys from To Catch a Predator, where it's like a 40-year-old guy showing up in an apartment with a bag of Burger King and they're trying to hook up. We're not. What about hanging out at a party and there's a 16-year-old that is gorgeous, that doesn't look like she's 16, and you're there and you're doing whatever, and they have videos and photos. It's not necessarily that you're being with like an underage girl, but you got duped in this Mossad, blackmail, whatever honeypot, and now they have dirt on you because there's absolutely no way. Because people like me, Adam, the losers, that are fed up with all the stuff that we were promised, all the stuff. The war was going to end in Ukraine on day one. Bullshit. We're sending more weaponry to go over there, okay? All the accountability for the deep state, they're all chilling. They're all walking free. The Brennan and Comey thing, I don't give a shit about. And something is going on where everybody, we were promised everything. Bongino, everybody came in all riding high pat. The moment they came in, everything's changed. And now they're trying to tell us that we're crazy and we're the C words. I won't even say that word. So it's pissing me off. It's pissing me off because now they're trying to tell us, you guys move on. And when somebody like Ben Shapiro, of all people, is telling me not to look into something and then go, it's a conspiracy, I don't listen to it, okay? It's absolutely horseshit. Something is up. And Pat, Ghislaine Maxwell, this might be a ploy. If she gets killed, guys, if she's actually going to go in front of a camera and testify in front of Congress, and she suicides herself, I want to see what the world is going to say. I want to see what the president's going to say and what all these people are going to say, that we're all crazy. Because if she speaks and she gives names, it's over. It's over for her. She's a dead woman walking.
And by the way, before I go to Tom, Rob, you want to pull up the voting that they did last night, the results of it. So the Rules Committee voted 149, motion by McGovern to make in Order Amendment 50, which this was in regards to the files to be preserved and release any records related to Jeffrey Epstein. 5-7, they lost.
What?
And the people that said yes were all liberals, except for one Republican. And the people that said nay were all Republicans. Tom, why would Republicans not want to release all the records on Jeffrey Epstein?
This is now, really, really, really bothering me. This vote last night, I asked this question. Why wouldn't all of these people, because this is what people talked about during the election, during the campaign. And by the way, during some of their campaigns too, it's not just the president, it was other people about reelect me, send me back to Washington, and I will make sure they're JFK, MLK, Epstein, the files are released. Some of these people, I want to find some of these people that were conservatives, they campaigned on that. You know, and Ro Khanna, who's been on this podcast, puts a motion out and says, okay, folks, I'll tell you what, let's all vote on it. Do we put a motion in place that says you should preserve and release the information? That's all Ro Khanna was doing there. And so, and it's just shocking who's protecting who, because this is like a clear cut, statement here. Oh, if he has something, we're not going to compel him in this forum to push it out.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're saying. And that bothers me. This really bothers me when I'm told, don't look at anything, nothing to see here.
I have a position that I'm wondering, Tom,
But on this vote, these votes are bothersome.
That's what I was wondering. I'm trying to think strategy. That's all I'm thinking about right now. I'm trying to think strategy right now because it's one of two things. Either everybody there is there to protect the president, or everybody is taking this position because some sort of strategy. And I have some thoughts, but I want to go to Adam first.
Well,
Adam.
let me hear your thoughts.
Okay. In fact, I love that I literally just wrote, there's two things. Either Donald Trump is compromised, meaning they have something on him, number one, or number two, somebody else is saying, don't dare release it because we're on it.
Or there's another or.
Yeah.
Or there's another or. So let's go through all three ors.
They're using it?
So let's go through all three ors. So number one is Donald Trump's on it. Okay. All right. So let's say that's the one where he doesn't want to go through. That's an easy one. If it's on there, it's on there. If it's not, it's not. If it's on there, prove it. But my suspicion to think he's on there is so low because Obama would have had it.
Yep.
Biden would have had it. They would have done everything in their power.
But what if they're on it, Pat? But what if they're on it?
Let me make my point, and I'm gonna hear everybody's thoughts. So the second thing that to me is if Trump's on it, they would have used it, they would have destroyed him, they would have smashed him. They would have never let him get into the White House. Ever let him get to the White House. So that's one. Two, the Republicans don't want to release it because, a lot of them are on there and, a lot of the money people are on there, so they don't want to release it because of whatever reason. Let's go to three. Politics is super nasty. Right? So just think about the game of politics. Play the game.
Okay.
Not as an outsider, be one. We're not politicians. We're not in the game. You're a podcaster. You're giving opinions.
Yes.
You're giving your thoughts. You're giving your perspective. You're not in the arena. You're not playing the game in the arena, right? You're not.
We're spectators.
We're spectators in the game of politics.
Yes.
We're spectators in the game of politics. Okay. But not go inside, okay, and play the game of politics. When you wake up in the morning and you have ambitions of moving up in politics, not if you wake up in the morning like, I'm just going to do my job and that's what I'm going to do and what is the reports I need to look at to respond. No, that's a person that's just being a congressman or senator. I'm talking about you are super ambitious. Man, one day I want to be that president, vice president, House of Rep. I want to be Speaker of the House. You're super ambitious, right? Nothing wrong with the way you're there. What is the first thing you look for when you wake up in the morning? Controversy on your opponent to call their asses out, okay? You're looking for any fumble you look for to call them out. Any fumble to look for to call them out, right? Doesn't matter what it is. Boom. Like Newsom's the best at it. First thing in the morning he wakes up, forget about what's going on in California. The first thing he looks at is, did Trump have a fumble? Did DeSantis have a fumble? Did Nashville, Tennessee have a fumble? Did Texas have a fumble? Let me call their asses out. Why is he doing that? He's trying to be number one. He wants to be a president, okay? In the last 6 months, President Trump hasn't had a bigger fumble than this one. What has Clinton said about it?
Zero.
What has Hillary Clinton said about it?
Zero.
What's Biden said about it?
Nothing.
How about Jill? How about Barack? How about Michelle? How about Schumer? Why haven't they said anything about it? This is a big... This is an easy opportunity to do one of these things.
100%.
You think Obama's going to get a let her chance like that go? You think Hillary? You think Hillary's going to let her chance go?
Crickets.
Can I ask why they haven't said anything? Why haven't you said anything? Is it because you're such a statesman and you're so noble and it's not the proper thing to do because we're not the president today and we're not like other people that go after the prior administration? I mean, Obama went
Never
after
stopped him
Bush.
before.
Obama went after Bush every chance. I've inherited this. I've inherited all of this. And how many times? Half of the Americans who never knew, a majority of immigrants who came to America and didn't know what the word inherited meant, they did right after Obama became president because he used the word every flipping day. I inherited this from the Bush previous administration. And how come you're not going after him? Why not? Rob, can you, maybe I'm wrong, can you go on one of these ChatGPT or Groks and just kind of search it and say, what have the biggest Democratic establishment voices said about the Epstein fumble President Trump had this past week? What has the biggest Democratic establishment voices have the biggest fumble said this week? Okay, let's just see what it says. And then we can specifically ask names. So, Ro Khanna, but these are not the biggest ones.
No.
Go bottom.
Nobody knows
Nobody
those guys.
knows those names. No, I'm saying ask specifically.
Like Bill
and say,
Clinton.
like figures like, what about Clinton's, Obama's, Biden's, Schumer,
Pelosi's.
the
Pelosi's.
Yeah, Pelosi's. Those types of names. That's the establishment,
I think Nancy did say something. I think she said something, Pat.
Let's see here.
Let's see.
Clinton's hasn't publicly commented on it.
I've been on vacation
Why
and I didn't have
wouldn't
good
you?
coverage.
Okay, but it's past 7, visiting the White House 17 times and flying on Epstein Island in early 2000. Epstein went to the White House 17 times? Damn.
Oh, yeah.
Hillary Clinton has remained largely silent on the latest development. Okay, Obama's hasn't had any public reaction to Trump's Epstein. However, Trump's strategy of blaming Obama Clinton for scandal shows how it's deflecting responsibility. Biden hasn't issued anything, but Democrats in Congress, no, I'm not talking about Democrats. Schumer has amplified the issue, supporting demand for Epstein records and using conjunction. Okay, so that's one. Speaker Pelosi hasn't spoken about the recent fumble, but has historically led efforts to transparency. Okay, and this is ChatGPT. You know, ChatGPT is generally going to be leaning a little bit to the left, right? Why haven't they? Why aren't they saying anything? Why are they quiet? You know, so that leads me to think a guy sends me a message. I think Trump is playing 4D chess and all this other stuff. He's telling me this stuff. Okay, let's give that a little bit of credence. The fact that maybe they have so much intel that they're using this against them. Could it be? Could it be the fact that Obama's, Clinton's, all these guys are so quiet about this Epstein issue? They haven't said anything. They're just watching it from the outside. You're seeing Republicans fight each other. This is a perfect opportunity to jump in and say something. This is a very good opportunity to jump in and say something. You're not saying anything. Why aren't you saying anything? You've never been known for being noble. Your good friend Rahm Emanuel, who helped you with the elections when you were in Chicago and you were going to Schwartzman, hoping to get his support, and Rahm Emanuel and Schwartzman had a fight in that hotel room, the event that took place where there was a hotel room conference. Rahm Emanuel never let a crisis go to waste. Never. This is a crisis. You guys are letting it go to waste. Why are you letting it go to waste? I don't know. I don't know why you're letting it go to waste. I'm just curious. It's a value. It's a worthy question to ask
Very
to
valid.
see what's going on there.
And it's crazy that you brought up. It's like, think about that. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House under Clinton 17 times. And do you guys remember, little fun fact, Mark Middleton, you remember who he was, Rob? Remember that guy? Special assistant to Bill Clinton? He's the guy that signed him on 7 times, signed him on to come see the president, come see the White House. And that's the same guy that suicided himself with a extension cord in a tree, hanged himself, shot himself with a shotgun, Pat, and they couldn't find the shotgun. Weird. Weird how that happens, guys. Isn't that weird? That's the guy, right, Rob? Mark Middleton. That's the guy, Pat. Remember, they shot him, and the detectives were like, yeah, this is suicide. They're like, but guess what? Can't find the gun. Weird. It's weird that they're eerily quiet.
Adam,
Why are you guys so
where are you
quiet?
at with this?
So, I've been watching a lot of people over the weekend sort of have very emotional responses to what's going on here, and I put these people in 3 categories. There's
stupid, stupid, and really stupid.
That's just your 3rd category, Vinny.
Gotcha.
I'll save the best for last.
Gotcha.
There's the people who want the truth and they're frustrated, and they have every right of knowing that. I totally get those people. Totally understand that. The second tier of people, I believe, are people who are eating their popcorn watching this. It's like Game of Thrones and House of Cards and Tiger King all in one for these type of people. And then there's a third type of people, like my friend Vinny, who I love very much. And Jeffrey Epstein is living rent-free in your head. And you can't shake it. And every morning you wake up, you're like, dude, we need more information on Epstein.
Actually, I don't actually
It's like
listen.
you're watching the show.
That's not what I do in the morning.
And you're speculating, oh, it's this guy. It could be him. I don't know what's going on. When the reality is, and I mean this sincerely, you don't know shit, bro.
Oh, yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Because
I'll retort when you're done.
If Pam Bondi is saying something, and Kash Patel is saying something.
Oh, I believe that.
And Dan Bongino is saying something, and Trump is saying
the government
something.
wouldn't lie at him. You're right.
Okay,
The government would never lie.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you don't know. So I have the humility, and I have the capacity to say, you know what? Does this matter? Yeah. Can I control any of this? 0. If Pam Bondi can't control this, and Dan Bongino can't control this, and Kash Patel, who basically platformed himself on this issue, can't solve this, Vinny ain't solving this, homie.
Who said I'm trying to
So
solve
you
it,
are.
Adam? No, I'm
because
not.
you put yourself out there,
Okay, good.
and you act like you're the authority on this. You're not.
Say, Adam,
And
when you have
hold
those
on,
three groups,
my final point here is a common theme that we talk about on this show is signal versus noise. To me, this is a whole bunch of noise. You're searching for Bigfoot when I'm trying to get rich and create things in my life.
Great.
So good luck with your search. I'm going to go live in reality.
I have a
and
fast question.
I'm not downplaying the significance of this. I'm saying for most people who are fat, lazy, broke, the people I'm talking about, they're obsessed with stuff like this. When they have so many personal issues in their life, they can't fix. So they basically deflect and say, yeah, but Epstein. Yeah, but the Tiger King. Yeah, did you see what happened on Game of Thrones? No, I didn't, because I'm actually doing bigger things in my life.
But do you think people...
so bigger? So you analyze it, and you say there's 3 groups. Okay, of the 3 groups, you say, Adam, what is the percent size of each one? Is it third, a third, a third, as you see it, just as you estimate it? Because you said you broke it into 3 groups you observed.
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't done the exact math.
But
what
that's
is your
a very
sense?
valid question. What he's asking you is, where do you think majority of people in America fall? These are types of questions we ask on a podcast. You don't have to get 100% right, but what is your assumption of where people fall?
I would say there's a vast percentage of people who genuinely care about this. Like
More than 50?
I care about this. Like this isn't
group
so
3.
Let's be real clear here. This isn't a top 3 issue for me. It may be a top 10 issue. I don't think it's a top 3 for most Americans. I think most Americans wake up, they want to work, they have to deal with rent or their mortgage, or the cost of living. They want to deal with their kids, they want to take their kids to school. It's summer right now. They're worried about immigration, the border. I don't think the average person's waking up going, did we find out about Epstein?
So that was a 45-second response.
No, there was a
answer that should have been-
7-second response.
No, there's no way it's 7 seconds.
That was.
So what percentage falls in the category of people that care? Either say you can't answer it, we'll move on.
No.
But don't take 2 minutes.
I didn't take 2 minutes. I took 7
what are the
seconds.
3
It just went from
categories?
45 seconds
Okay, I'm
to
going to
2
move
minutes.
on. Let me just come back
But
over
no,
here, Vinny.
but
Go,
the
Vinny.
reality is,
hang on.
people
I'm gonna
do
go to
care
Vinny.
about
Vinny,
this.
Okay,
go ahead.
Go
We're
ahead,
not going to
Vinny.
get an answer
Go on a
here.
rant for
Vinny,
30 seconds.
Go for it.
Yeah, Adam, well, you said so much, and so much of it was bullshit, so I have to kind of process it in my brain, because you think people like me wake up every morning and... No, Adam, I wake up, I listen to 432 hertz calm, I go to the gym, I do my thing. And I can walk, Adam, like the average American, walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. I could worry about money. I could be investing. Tom took freaking 20 minutes of his time this morning to help me with my investments, help me with my stuff. And guess what? I could still think about Epstein. And the thing is, Adam, here's the real thing. All the victims that are out there, none of them are in your family. Your nieces, your nephew, none of them were raped. None of them were trafficked, Adam. So I could see where you wouldn't give a shit.
Were they in your family?
No, hold on.
Were they in your family?
You don't care about the kids that much.
No.
No, hold on.
That's
let me
a bullshit
finish.
argument.
No, it's not
That's
a bullshit
argument.
Because, just like when the border, when these illegals rape, hold on, and murder, wait a minute.
So these are the only kids in the world that are dealing with tragedy.
It's
just these kids.
No, Adam.
It's not everywhere in the world.
Adam, hundreds
These are the only kids we're
going to
worry about. Okay.
Adam, Again, I can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time.
Okay.
Because you're like, what about all the other stuff? And guess what? Trump has closed the border, okay? Those rapes and killings, barely even happening from illegals, okay? Tariffs, ICE, everything is kicking ass. The main problem right now is they all ran on Epstein, deep state, everybody, we're going to get them. Now that they're here and they're kicking ass on everything else.
Is that what they ran on, though?
Yeah, hell yeah, they did.
Was that their top priority?
How many questions?
Because I'm pretty damn sure it was the economy and immigration.
Adam, and how many times?
Nobody ever said, Trump never said, elect me and I'll be the truth sayer on Jeffrey Epstein.
Bullshit. How many interviews? How many interviews?
Vinny, you think that was his top thing?
Let me finish.
This is my whole point.
How many interviews?
Is in your mind, this is the number one thing in the world.
How many interviews did Donald Trump sit down and they asked JFK files? Yes. Epstein? Yes. Wait a minute.
He said no.
Hang on.
He said no.
Guys, pump the brakes. Let me bring it back, okay? When you think about how many interviews he did where people asked, you're right, okay? When you're asking what people asked. However, if you go to, Rob, I'm going to send this to you. This is what they call the Agenda 47, okay? And they call this the Agent 47 promise. And this is Trump's promise, okay? Rob, I'm going to send it to you if you can just pull it up and we'll go through it one by one, okay? And these were things that he said he was going to do for the election and what things they focused on, okay? For us, we try to be as fair as possible here. Rob, if you can pull that up. I don't know if you have what I just sent you right there. This is the 20, and by the way, I don't even know what all the 20 are, but let's just kind of pull it up and see what it was. The market asks, and zoom in one by one, let's read it. 20 promise to America. Seal the border and stop the migrant. Okay, number one, he's done it. Number two, carry out largest deportation operation in American history. Hasn't been done yet. No. 30,000, the biggest number in half a decade. Not there yet, but they're working on it. End inflation and America affordable again. They're working on it. Make America dominant energy producer in the world by far. They're working on it. Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into many. They're working on it. Largest tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. Done. Defend our Constitution, our borough, freedom of religion. Okay, they're working on it. Prevent World War III, restore peace in the Europe, Middle East. Hasn't been done yet.
Sort of important.
But it's working on it, yes. But that's number 8. End the weaponization of government against the American people. They're working on it. Stop migrant criminal epidemic, demolish the foreign drug cartels, crush gang violence, and end up, they're working on it. Rebuild our cities, including D.C., making it safe, clean, beautiful, working on it. Strengthen and modernize our military, making it without question the strongest, they're working on it. Keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, major progress. Fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. They made a couple changes to it. Some will say 15 million, this, that, but they're working on it. Cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costly. By the way, that was so. That number 15 is directed to one person,
Elon Musk.
That was a promise that he made. So Musk knew that. Number 16, cut federal funding for any schools pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology. Okay, they're working on it. Keep men out of women's sports, major progress. Deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses, major progress. Secure our elections, including same-day voting, working on it. Unite our country by bringing into new and record levels. So here's
who put this list together, Pat?
This is their campaign. This is their team.
But Vinny, number one.
Hang on, I'm going to come to you.
Okay,
hang on, I'm going to come to you. What I want to say here, Vinny, is two things. Because do you think I want to know what happened with Epstein? 100% I want to know what happened with Epstein. But to his credit, that was never his agenda. That was our agenda. That was the voters' agenda. That was the voters' hope. It was the voters' hope to find out what happened here. The biggest screw up is the following. So when we go as a unit, what do I not like? Okay? Like one of the things I don't like is when somebody makes a promise on my behalf. I never made that promise. Wait a minute. No. Hang on. Let's call him right now. Hey, Johnny, did somebody tell you that we said we're going to do this yet? Did I say that or who said that? No, Bobby said that. But did I say that? No. So I don't want you to go around saying Pat said that. Did I ever tell you that? No. Have I ever said that from stage? No. Don't go around telling people I said this. I never made that promise. That wasn't a promise made by me. No, fair enough, Pat. My bad. No, all good. I just want to call you. If I said it, show me the text, show me the email, show me the video. I'm going to keep my commitment. But I never said that. That wasn't our promise. We said we'll work on it, right? I'm on the side that I want to know what the hell is going on here. This is starting to become semi-annoying because when you have momentum, the last thing you need is an issue that wasn't a top 3 issue becomes a number 1 issue that disrupts the momentum that you're having, that is self-inflicted, that you caused. Pam Bondi caused. Okay? Bongino, Cash. This is a collective effort that they caused, all of them, the entire team. And now, unfortunately, everything rises and falls on leadership. So all of this falls on who? Trump, period. Because me hiring you indirectly is who? My choice.
Yeah.
I made the wrong choice or the good choice, the right choice. So you chose to be a president, the shit's falling on you. The way he's approaching this game right now and the way he's trying to handle it, I think he's handling it in a way that's bringing more and more and more and more and more attention. Either move on, but right now the votes, Republicans are not saying no. What? Yep. Republicans are saying don't release this? You better have a good explanation on why you're not releasing. Here's what Tucker had to say about it at Turning Point USA, Rob. If you want to play this clip of Tucker, here's Tucker. Okay, he's at Turning Point USA, and go for it, Rob.
Not acceptable. And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American. And we have every right to ask, on whose behalf was he working? How does a guy go from being a math teacher at the Dalton School in the late 70s with no college degree to having multiple airplanes, a private island, and the largest residential house in Manhattan? Where did all the money come from? And no one has ever gotten to the bottom of that because no one has ever tried. And moreover, it's extremely obvious to anyone who watches that this guy had direct connections to a foreign government. Now, no one's allowed to say that that foreign government is Israel because we have been somehow cowed into thinking that that's naughty. There is nothing wrong with saying that. There is nothing hateful about saying that. There's nothing anti-Semitic about saying that. There's nothing even anti-Israel about saying that. I've spent my entire life pretty much in Washington, where I knew and loved a number of people, including one very close person who worked at CIA. That has never prohibited me from saying, I think the CIA has done some horrible things, murdered a bunch of people, participated in the murder of a sitting U.S. president. It's got a whole trail of crimes. That doesn't make me a disloyal American. It doesn't make me anti-American in any sense. I was born here. My family's been here for hundreds of years. I love this country. That's why I live here. So criticizing the behavior of a government agency does not make you a hater. It makes you a free person. It makes you a citizen. You're allowed to do that because you're not a slave. You're a citizen. And you have a right to expect that your government will not act against your interests, and you have a right to demand that foreign governments not be allowed to act against your interests. That's not creepy. It shouldn't be forbidden. And yet all of us have trained ourselves
Rob,
to believe that you can't say that.
This is this clip right here is where they talk about Bondi and Bongino and the fallout.
Okay, play that one here.
Do you think Dan is upset because his integrity is being questioned now over her mistakes?
Oh, my gosh. So you're Dan, and you're a media figure, and you've got one of the biggest podcasts in the country, and you're making tons of money, and you're having a great time, which he was. You just built this brand new studio in Florida. You work with your wife, who you really like, which she does. And you get the call saying you'd be deputy FBI director. And you're like, I love Donald Trump. I love this country. I will, cut my pay by, into a tenth of what it was. And yes. I will leave my house and move to D.C., which is a kind of prison sentence itself. And I will do this because I love the president. I love the country. And you're there a few months. And all of a sudden, everybody thinks you're covering up Epstein's crimes. And it kind of wrecks Dan's career. Like, he can't go back. It's going to be very hard at this point. I mean, things may change, but as of today, pretty hard for Dan to go back to his podcast audience and be like, I'm telling you the truth, when they all think that he's covering up for Epstein. Who did that? Pam Bondi did that. And I don't know that she did it on purpose. I'm assuming not. I don't think she's a mean person. I've never gotten that sense. But for whatever reason, she went out there and said things that were not true, that she could not back up. And then they issued this memo thinking that it would clear everything up.
That was embarrassing.
And I guess they're just so dumb, they didn't realize that if you tell everybody you have the tapes of these crimes and then you issue a memo saying you're not going to prosecute anybody for the crimes, what are you saying?
That's a very...
I'm covering up for the...
Adam, that's the most basic question everybody is upset about.
Sure.
That's the most basic thing everybody is upset about.
That Pam announced something and then retracted her statement?
That somebody on Trump's team made an announcement that they're going to do that, and then they're changing it. Tom, you look like you want to say something.
Yeah, well, Pam didn't make an announcement. Pam got busted.
Caught.
Possibly just here, you know, I don't know Pam personally, and I don't want to be harsh here, but is it possible that she got caught in a restaurant and saying some things, says, I've told you a million times, just hyperbole. And she got busted saying that. It became a news item overnight, and she walked not to a podium, but to the White House lawn and doubled down on what she said. Is it possible that she shouldn't have done it that way? Is it possible that now that kind of put a stake in the ground, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we've got 10,000 videos. Now what? I really wonder if she was just talking over the top with somebody, got busted because it was overheard. She's in a public restaurant. Not so bad idea if it was hyperbole. Bad idea to be talking in a restaurant, and then you doubled down on the driveway on an impromptu media op at the White House, and here we are. I wonder.
No, Adam, say what you're going to say.
If we can go back to that list, and that's sort of the center of my entire thesis here, is that I understand why people are frustrated by this. I too have watched Game of Thrones. I too watched Tiger King and wanted to know what was next. But my major emphasis is, I don't know. And either do you, homie. And you can say what you think all you want. And I respect the hell out of that. But I mean this. You don't know. And that's okay to say. The hardest thing to do as a podcaster is when Pat goes, all right, buddy, what's your opinion? And I go, yeah, I don't know on this one. I just don't know.
Yeah.
The humility it takes to say, yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if he was CIA.
Well, no.
I don't know if he was Mossad.
Those are two different things. No, hang on.
Thank you.
Adam, I brought this up to give you an argument.
Thank you. And
so what I'm trying to say to you is, I don't know. None of us know.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
No.
But our friend Vinny here
he doesn't.
just said he did know.
No.
Is my point.
The point is, none of us know, but we all have an opinion. If this podcast wasn't without you sharing your opinion, there is no podcast.
Correct.
People are simply watching this to say, Adam's full of shit. I agree with Adam. Vinny's angry. I don't know what Vinny's out of control. You know what? He's the only guy that's the truth. You know what, Tom? I like what Tom. Pat, they get to judge. And they get to talk trash and say good things and say bad, and that's okay. We're talking opinion.
Yes.
Your opinion, which is a very valid opinion. Your opinion is, he never ran on this.
He didn't run on this.
I know. That's what I'm saying to you. So
Yes.
you can give that opinion.
And that's all I'm trying to say.
That's it. I'm with you.
And I'm just mirroring Trump here. This wasn't on my top 3. Just like we've had conversations about AutoPen. This was not in my top 10. It's getting closer to my top 3. It ain't there yet. And I acknowledge, you know what? I sort of downplayed the AutoPen thing because there's a lot of sort of domino effects of, I don't know what happened here. It's still not in my top 3. But what's my point? Trump never ran on Epstein. He never acknowledged this as like, this is what I'm going to get out there and do. But you and people like you, rightfully so, have said, this is my top 3 and he campaigned on this and this is number 1. And you made that up in your head. Because I'm going down this list and I'm also like sarcastically waiting for Epstein to be in the top 20. It ain't even in his top 20 list. Can we acknowledge that? Can you acknowledge that?
Yeah, I could acknowledge it.
Okay, perfect.
But
we're good.
Here's my thing.
But just say this: it's in your top 3, but it's not
Adam,
in Trump's
and
top 20.
You know what made it go in the top 3? The freaking lying, the sitting and looking in a camera and bullshitting us, thinking that we're those losers and those idiots that you're talking about. Adam, we're not stupid and we're not fucking losers. Okay, when a promise comes out of your mouth, I learned this big time with him. You know why? I would say something to one of his kids, Tico, just in a small little passing. Uncle Vinny, can we watch a movie? I'd say, yeah, Sunday, blah, blah, blah. He would hit me up and be like, Tico's going crazy, asking me where you are because you said X, Y, and Z. When you make a promise, even to a little kid, They want the fucking. Sorry for my cussing back. So, but let me finish.
I get it.
So when
who made the promise though?
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
The promise?
It wasn't on his campaign promises to American people list. But Adam,
like
he is on multiple.
The thing that he ran on.
He's on camera multiple
sort of
times.
Important.
Hold on. He's not only on camera multiple times. Adam, the Cash Patel.
Show me.
I will
show me Trump on camera.
Look, Trump
saying I'm going to get to the bottom of Epstein.
I'm going to get the Epstein list.
Show me that.
All right, let me finish. Let him while he's looking that up. Not only the president, his son. You can find that video. Find the son of the video of Don Jr. and then Cash Patel. How many? On the couch podcast.
Just
hold on,
show
Adam.
me Trump.
I let you talk. Let me finish. He's gonna show you the Trump. By the way, and it's multiple here and on podcasts. Which one's the other one? And on CNN. He did it on MSNBC. How many times are you gonna say it? And then the team around you, the Cash Patels, the Dan Bongino's entire thing.
Who do you think knows more on this? You or Cash Patel?
What do you mean knows more about this?
Who do you think knows more about this situation?
That now knows exactly what happened and is covering it up?
Patel?
Cash Patel, for sure.
Okay, who knows more, you or Pam Bondi?
Pam Bondi has more.
Who knows more, you or Dan
Adam,
Bongino?
Can you pull up Cash's
So
tweets?
I'm going to listen to them,
and what's
not
your
you.
point, Adam? Well, hold on. You know why that's a dumbass argument? What do they know more? Meaning they saw the dirt, Adam, and now they're being quiet. I'm not stupid. Nobody in here is stupid.
Here we go.
You know.
The conspiracy theories just aren't true.
Yeah.
Never have been. It's an honor to serve the President Donald Trump, and I'll continue to do so for as long as he calls
And who
on me.
tweeted this?
But wait a minute.
This is Cash
I'm going
Patel?
to move on. I'm going to move on with this, and I want to just finish up with this.
But Vinny disagrees, so he must be wrong.
Both of you
trust FBI.
have an argument. And what's weird is both of you are right. Two people can be right on the same argument. You're right that he never ran on this, and you voted for him. As a guy that's never voted for a Republican president ever in your life, this is the first time you ever voted on it, but you never voted on this. So you're being upfront with the audience. Vinny's also right, because what Vinny's trying to say is, why are you thinking I'm dumb? There's hundreds of clips many clips of Cash Patel giving a complete opposite argument of that. We're not going to play it right now. We got a lot of other issues to get into. This was a fumble. And Ben Shapiro and Megyn Kelly, I watched this one as well, where, he's like, well, what's the big deal? You know who my resources are? Here's my sources, saying the fact that nothing happened. President Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, Cash Patel, Pam Bondi, and then Megyn Kelly's like, but you can't say that because we can question that. Both are right. Massive fumble. All I'm watching right now is to see how the hell they're going to recover from this coming in. That's all I'm watching. What different methods they're going to come through this part. Let's go to the next story.
Sure.
Let's go to the next story. Next story. I want to get into a little bit of economy here. What was the one story that I wanted to get into? That was Tom. There was one economy. Okay, let's go into ICE. Okay, so his number one thing he ran on was what? Immigration.
Secure the border.
And he said we're going to have record-breaking deportation, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Okay? Report, ICE agents arrests 30,000 illegals in June, the most in half a decade. Okay, now half a decade, guys, sounds like 50 years. It's only 5 years, right? But the way they write it is like, half a decade. It just sounds better when they put it that way. Some 30,000 illegal aliens were arrested by ICE in June. Obtained in June, 30,000 illegals were arrested. This is a slight uptick from May, 24,000. According to ICE data, more than 18,000 illegals were either deported by ICE agents, and then boom. So now the number of all deportations from the interior of U.S. is still unknown, as DHS officials say it's 253,000 illegal aliens have been either removed or deported. Okay, 62% of Americans disapprove of Trump's immigration policies. Now, let me kind of read this because this is Forbes. Forbes is officially a socialist network when it comes down to Forbes. This used to be a place called Capitalist Tool, but I don't know who the hell is running Forbes right now. My God, it's a disgrace what's going on with Forbes.
I think it's China, is it not?
No, it's not. This guy bought 66% of it for $800 million or some number like that.
What?
Yeah, he bought 75% of Forbes for $800 million. I think at the time they had a $40 million EBITDA. But here we go with Forbes. A June Gallup poll released Friday reveals that 79% of surveyed adults view immigration as a good thing for the country, a record high, with only 17% seeing it as a bad thing, reversing a 2021-2024 trend increasing negative view with a jump in positive perception, primarily amongst Republicans and independent Democrats. Recognize 91% believe that immigration is beneficial. The poll indicates growing support pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants up 78% from 70% last year, while support for stringent measures like increasing Border Patrol agents declined 17 points. And the border wall dropped to 45% despite Trump's administration's swift and visible response to surge in illegal border crossing during Biden's administration. Despite these shifts, 62% of Americans disapprove of Trump's immigration policies, with 45% strongly disapproving, comparing to 35%. And obviously the numbers between Republicans and Democrats. Tom, you see this number here, okay? How it's being spun by Forbes. How do you see these numbers yourself?
Well, I'm going to take us back in time to the first poll ever taken. It was taken to the Pilgrims. 100% of Pilgrims thought immigration was good for America because they could leave King George. So it is two different questions. Do you think immigration is good for America? We all came from somewhere. My great-grandparents came from Canada. We all came from somewhere. Yeah. So number one. But number two, do you think illegal immigration has been good for America? It's running 60-65 saying no. And you've got people saying, do you agree with the policies, the way they're being executed? People didn't like construction sites and farms being basically raided. They didn't like that. But did you know they love the fact that they went into neighborhoods and took out thugs and criminals? So you have to look at three things. Immigration has been good for America. We've had immigration policy. We all came from somewhere. Ellis Island was built to open the door for us here. France gave us the Statue of Liberty that said, give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuge from those far shores. It's right there. So immigration good, illegal immigration not good. Bad people here, you got to pick. You get a blueberry muffin and you got to find the bad blueberries, and it's not a pretty thing. And so people are responding right now that says, I didn't like raids on farms. I didn't like raids on construction sites. I didn't like that. And it said, but he's staying with high approval ratings on plucking out the negative people. And guess what? You can take polls and put them side by side and create the narrative you want. And what they're saying is, 70% or 62% people think immigration is good for the country. I think that's too low. If you ask me, I think immigration has been great for the country. That's how we all got here, legally.
Did you guys see Bill Maher with this actor, John Leguizamo? Did you guys see this?
Oh, John Leguizamo is a complete leftist.
Watch this, Rob. I actually really like this clip. Rob, I just texted it to you.
Is it? It just happened this
Is that Benny Blanco from the Bronx?
That's Benny Blanco
Is
from
it really
the Bronx?
Benny Blanco from the Bronx? Okay, so there's an exchange here, and I love the way Bill explains it. Watch this. It's a phenomenal clip.
This guy, despite, by the Leguizamo,
I know,
hates Trump.
I know he does.
Okay.
I know he does. This is why it makes it so great. And this is on the topic of immigration. Go ahead, Rob.
Part of this is a backlash to how badly Biden handled the immigration situation. It can't just be like come one, come all, which
Dude,
it was.
There's plenty of room here, and we need
room.
There's plenty of room in America. Come on, there's not a lack of room in America.
But it's never about room. It's about resources and about like having countries have to have a border. It just can't be. I mean, they've done surveys and something like 200 million people around the world, when asked, would you come to America if you could? Yes, I would. Why wouldn't they? Lots of countries, are shitholes.
Right.
And they would love to be here. You can't
not right. No, right. The places aren't shitholes, but...
Well, they are. That's why they want to come.
And it's usually because of America. What America's done, especially in Latin America, has beat up every democracy that was burgeoning in Latin America. They destroyed it to keep their oil or their resources or bauxite or bananas.
Like, if you don't really have rights, like as far as like women's rights in most majority Muslim countries, women just don't have close to the rights we have here. If you can't dress the way you want, if you are in a country where there's just extreme poverty, which a lot of countries have, or if there's like the kind of corruption, and we have corruption here, of course, but on a level.
Well, we have extra
where
new corruption with the meme coin.
But it is on a level in some countries that's way, way more.
Well, we're catching up. We're catching up.
We're catching up, but we still.
No, it's still.
But there's a reason why people want to come here because it's still better.
But I got to tell you, I mean,
if you live in a country where you can take a chicken on a bus, that was always my standard. Okay, I think I have the right to call that a shithole country, and I see why you want to come here. It's not your fault you live in a shithole. It doesn't mean you're a shithole person. But you're the misfortune of being born there, and I get it why you would want to move here.
Right, but the thing is that the immigrants that are coming here are building the country. They're the essential workers.
They are.
They're the first responders. They're doing all your construction, painting, plumbing, raising all your food, cooking all your food, serving all your food.
Kids, taking care of your kids.
Taking care of your kids. We do all the work that nobody wants to do and keeps the country going. I mean, immigrants are the life source of this country.
Yes, they are, absolutely, because, again, we're both products of them.
Yes, we are both.
We need, but what most Americans, I think sensible, middle-of-the-road people would say is, yes, of course, we are an immigrant welcoming country, but there has to be some order to it.
That's right.
It just can't be.
And that's the part. You
come
can pause
one,
it right
come
there.
all.
He said something so interesting. He says, there's plenty of room. Come on, man. Yeah. There's plenty of room. Let me ask you a question. How big is John's house?
John Leguizamo?
How big is his house?
I guarantee
Can
you
you type in how big is John Leguizamo's house?
8 bedrooms, probably.
House.
You think?
How big is his house? Okay. I want to know how many square feet his house is. Okay. Is there documentation how he lives in a 3,136 square foot house? Okay. That he bought for $6 million and it's worth $10 million today. It was a historic 1899 built home, right? And go a little bit lower, Rob.
Manhattan,
and he's got another place that's 2,600 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3-bath on roughly 7.6 acres. And then he's got a Venice house and a couple other things. I'm not giving his address out. I'm just showing what kind of house. This is public information.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, John, you have enough room, bro.
Exactly.
You have a total of 10,000 square feet of places for people to live. You should allow 50 people to live in your place. And when I was in the Army, I mean, look, my barracks, they were maybe 300 square feet. Honestly, it was so tiny, it was not even funny. So if we can fit, one person per 300,000, I would say you can fit 2 people per 300 square feet. He should be okay with 20 people moving into his house. There's plenty of room there.
John, you're rich. You need to do your part. The wealthy need to do their part,
I
John.
agree. I think if he allows for 20 homeless people or illegal immigrants to live with him, maybe then let's have the conversation. John, lead from the front. Come on, Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
Yeah. And as he just said, maybe they could do some drywall and watch his kids. He said it, not us.
I mean, it's a very good idea, but I say we start off with
Benny. Need a pool, man.
Let's start off with Benny.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start off with him. And open up the house. Be generous.
Yeah.
John, be generous.
But of course,
it's okay.
But of course he won't. He won't let anybody stay in his house.
Maybe he does. Don't doubt him.
No.
Don't doubt him.
Maybe
he is. Maybe
because
he's
if he was
gracious
interested in
and
that,
he's welcoming illegal immigrants into his house.
I
say we allow some of the illegals that are coming from. Let's go to the border. Let's do a case study.
You want to dox him real quick?
Take John to the border and say, John, we pick 19 people to move into your place.
Especially the houses that you're not there.
And we diversify because
100%.
Muslims are safe. Like, here's 3 Pakistanis. Pick them up. Let's give you 2 Salvadorians. Let's make them
because he's Colombian.
Mexicans,
grab a Colombian.
Maybe a Guatemalan. Yeah. Maybe a couple Chinese, like they're coming
Nationals
through.
to do the computer
stuff.
Just
mix them up. What's wrong with that?
And you got 4 houses. So if they want to cook a goat in the kitchen, you don't like the smell, that's okay.
No, he likes chickens on
You
buses.
could be in the
so PBD.
And you make a great point.
I didn't know he was this generous.
No, and by the way, so he's from Bogota, Colombia. By the way, it's impossible unless something. He can't be physically at all 4 of those locations.
That's my point.
You don't think he
so
can?
putting him in that 4-bedroom. Oh my God!
He's generous.
And I'm just curious.
There is plenty of room.
Do you think he's ever donated to anything? I've never seen a cause for Colombia. Are you giving money to Colombia? Are you helping people in Colombia?
He's a generous.
Why don't you go and give them
guys
money?
Stop that. Listen, I'm telling you, it's starting to piss me off.
Yeah, I get it.
Stop questioning his generosity.
You're right.
The fact that he won't agree to do this. You know he's going to agree to do this. I would be so shocked if a sensible, gentle, sensitive, kind, giving, gracious, extremely, patriotic, yet at the same time open borders would be willing to allow 19 people to live in his house.
Yeah.
He gives me that vibe.
Yeah, I think so
And
too.
you guys are being nonsense critics to doubt the fact that he would ever allow something like this to happen.
yeah,
Shame on you guys. I can't believe I'm saying this.
Inconceivable that he's a limousine liberal that would not do any of it.
Watch your language, Tom. You do not know that.
That's a limousine
Tom,
liberal.
you're talking about Benny Blanco from the Bronx.
I would never say he's a limousine liberal with a misspelled T-shirt. Never.
Listen, guys, on behalf of the people that live in Miami, I have taken in several Venezuelan, Colombian, Salvadorian, big booty Latinas, just in case they needed a place to stay. That was a one thing. That was a one-time
was
thing.
It thickies is what you
guys
think?
Thickies.
Was this a summer thing or on the hourly
Latinas
rate?
can stay, but the reality is, and I appreciate what you're doing, PBD. You're exposing his hypocrisy. I was over the weekend. There was a guy that was doing a sort of a man on the street in London. And they were talking about open borders, let everybody stay. In this case, it was maybe Muslims or Pakistanis, whatever it was. And they're like, let him in, let him stay. He's like, well, would you let them stay in your house? And to watch, I have 4 roommates right now, and I really can't. And I live with my mom, so I really can't.
Can't do it.
But, my girlfriend, I would. My girlfriend, she wouldn't. And every single one of them was like, I'm terribly sorry. I can't. If I had more room, I would. All you're doing is exposing their hypocrisy.
All of them.
No, come on in. Stay wherever you want. Can they stay with you? Oh, sorry, the room's taken.
Adam, you're exact 100% right. It's the same people that were like, bring them, open border, let them all in. We're going to send them to Martha's Vineyard. They're like, get them out of here. Get everybody out of Martha's Vineyard. There was like 30 of them.
And by the way, true story. They wanted more cops in Beverly Hills, which has its own police force.
Yeah, exactly.
But
you're right.
I think you mentioned, Ellis Island earlier.
Yeah, you know, the place that was specifically built so that immigrants could be processed here and could assimilate in America.
Thank you. So my great-grandparents came through Ellis Island. They came from Europe, right? From Russia.
Big donors to AIPAC. But
Big time.
They support.
What's wrong with being a donor to AIPAC?
I'm just saying.
Nothing.
I'm giving, remember, my daughter,
I've never
9 years
donated
old,
to
she's being
AIPAC,
recruited already.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But the reality is this. What he's discounting is what I would call the immigrant's journey. Every single one of our first-generation parents or grandparents had to pay the price and sacrifice. Your father worked at a 99-cent store
in Inglewood.
My great-grandfather was a butcher.
We can donate to Goodwill. That's how bad it was for us.
So every single first-generation immigrant doesn't speak that language. They have to get a job. They have to start somewhere. But their kids will be better off, and their grandkids will be better off. It started with the Irish, then it was Italians, then it was the Jews, then it was the USSR, now it's the Mexicans, the South Americans. We've all our grandparents have had to pay the price. Yeah. And to act like someone is special because they came more recent and didn't have to go through the proper legal protocols to become a citizen, you don't get to skip the line. Yeah, and that's why, here's the biggest point. The loudest, most annoyed people are the Latinos who went through the immigration process the right way. They're like, no. No quiero mi gente aquí skipping the line. Yep. I don't think so.
But you know what?
So they're very
think
upset.
You fully have Rob, I send you a clip. I don't think you fully have an understanding of what they went through as a white man, and I don't think you have the right to.
You're
comment
white,
on
Adam.
this.
You
because
can't get it.
if you go to this
well,
clip,
a lot of
here,
people
Rob,
don't think I'm white because I'm Jewish.
If you watch this clip, watch this here,
white.
Mr. White Man.
Hey, white boy.
Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
That is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a
racist.
Latino. No, I'm not being racist.
To discuss my opinion for being a
No,
woman.
I'm not discussing your opinion. I am telling you that what the Latino community, the brown community in America. Okay, well, let me speak with my voice. You said I was being hyperbolic.
Let me be emotional. Let me be emotional and tell you how I feel.
Being a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it to dismiss my
being a white man as an insult?
When you invoke it,
do you think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people are
here
not
comes the
right now?
worst. Here comes Abby.
Watch what she's
to
going
have
to
a whole
say.
conversation about that very thing. But I just want to make a point that, Brad, all she's saying is that her view of the situation is different from yours.
Dear Abby, you're so cute.
Sticking up for the racist. Sticking up for the racist. Why the hell? By the way, isn't Navarro
what the
on
hell
the View?
Was that stupid white guy thinking?
Stay on stay on the View. Why?
Screen.
Oh my God!
Stupid ass white guy.
Abby with
idiot.
flagrant Caitlin
Guys,
Clark
let's
before
go.
the opening.
We even have a
tip-off.
white guy right there.
Listen, let's
Right,
go
Tom?
talk. Let's go talk about what's going
Tom.
Canadians, very white.
Jamie
Horrible.
Dimon has a blunt message for Europe. You're losing, okay? Jamie Dimon said at an event in Ireland's Department of Foreign Affairs, you're losing regarding Europe's decline competitiveness compared to U.S. and Asia, noting that Europe has gone from 90% U.S. GDP to 65% over 10 or 15 years. That's not good. He further stated, we've got this huge stock market and our companies are big and successful, huge kinds of scale that are global. You have that, but less and less, pointing out Europe's lack of global scale corporations. To boost competitiveness, Dimon advocated for unified European market, saying everything should be a single market, and specified to finish it in the single market also means common banks, common disclosure laws, common exchange, common transparency, laws and climate. This addresses Europe's challenge with trade barriers, incomplete capital markets and banking unions, and fractured trade ties with the U.S. and China, alongside issues in energy, critical minerals, data centers, satellite communications, and digital services. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
Jamie Dimon is right. And he's pointing out, saying, once upon a time, before you guys with your liberal, and by the way, he also goes on to say, by the way, I'm barely a Democrat.
So that means he's a Republican.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess in New York you have to say that. But Jamie Dimon can say whatever he wants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He could come out and say, look, I'm a registered Republican now, deal with it. Right? What Jamie Dimon is talking about is the socialism and the liberalism didn't work. He's specifically getting into things. He says, you don't have a unified banking system. Santander doesn't have to be the official bank of all Europe. It's in Spain. But why don't you have a unified system? Mm-hmm. You know, HSBC, you know, the bank that's allegedly funded more, currency washing for terrorist organizations, HSBC. He's just saying, look, you're not the Bank of England and you're not the only bank of the UK. There needs to be unification. And he's like, if you guys would just unify and not regulate so much, you would have kept up. But you didn't keep up. You were 90% of us. And then we kept cruising and you ended up where you are. And by the way, you ready for this? They are trying to figure out in the UK right now, are we having a recession or a contraction? Because they've had a tremendous number of billionaires move their companies out of the UK. It isn't even close. They're number one with the exits. Mm-hmm. And so Jamie Dimon is looking over there, and there are stats that back up Jamie Dimon, where right now they think it may be a recession coming to the UK. Other people saying, no, Pat, that's not what it is. You know what it is? It's a contraction because people have permanently left. You know what a recession is? You spend less in Q3 and Q4 than you did in Q2. Mm-hmm. And then you come back up in Q1. That would be like you having a personal recession because maybe you're in sales and your commissions were down. That's a recession. No, you suddenly spend $1,000 less per month for the next 2 years. Why? Well, it's a contraction. I lost my overtime.
Yeah.
It's a contraction.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? That's what's happening. And Jamie Dimon is making a great point, saying, dude, you're losers. That's not what he said. He said, you're losing and you're blowing it.
Well, the good thing is no one on this panel would ever call anybody losers. And so it's not a proper language. So, Adam,
I would.
What are your thoughts on this story?
Well, I have two stats to show you, Rob. Here we go. Jamie Dimon is talking about Europe losing. I want to talk about why America is winning. So not too long ago in 2010, our GDP was pretty much mirror exactly what it was in the Eurozone, right above $14 trillion. So now we've doubled.
What a great data.
Thank you,
great
baby.
Find, Rob.
Thank you. Yeah,
Rob,
it was all Rob.
Nice, Rob.
It was all Rob. All Rob had to do was
open
up his text message from Adam. Thank you.
I'm so glad you immigrated here, Rob.
Thank you.
Rob, you're such a loser.
Yep.
Immigration works.
Meanwhile, all right, shut it, guys. Meanwhile, the Eurozone has basically done next to nothing. So if the UK, if France, or even Japan was the 51st state in America, the GDP per capita would be less than that of our brokest state, Mississippi. So all the people in America were like, America sucks. You can't make money here. I want to move out of America. Go anywhere else you want, buddy. Hey, lady, keep it moving, keep it grooving. Because if you want to go to the UK, if you want to go to France, if you want to go to Japan, if you want to go to Germany, It ain't better than Mississippi. MISSSISSIPPI. There you go. America's the best. And even when we're dealing with challenges, fighting amongst ourselves, our losers are preoccupied on things that doesn't affect their daily life, it's still the greatest place in the world to live and save that money.
Yeah, I mean, listen, can you imagine like how awesome America is that you can choose to build a podcast where audio noise is great and you build it right next to an airport where there's jets flying by all the time.
And nobody can hear
And
it.
you still love it.
Yes.
And you like freaking get fired up about it. You know what I'm saying? Like a
rip the
dream.
roof off this.
You know what's the best thing is when people come to campus here and then afterwards they're like, this is all you guys? Yeah. No, like, are you guys renting
off the building?
Are you guys leasing the land? No.
It's
So are you in that building or this building? Both.
Yes.
No, what do you guys do in that building?
Everything.
What? I had no clue what you guys are doing here. It's called the American Dream, baby. It's called the American Dream.
Listen.
Fort Lauderdale, soon
day,
to be.
PBD, I don't care how much you try to sell me. We ain't moving to Belize.
But let
We're
me tell
staying
you,
here.
Let me tell you.
I'm not leaving.
Why'd you release our announcement that we're going to make here soon to everybody, to the public? I tell you, every single time I can tell Adam stuff that we're working on bigger projects to announce to the public. Now we can't move to Belize. Now we have to consider moving to
if you've announced it on
Caracas.
the podcast.
We got to go
All right.
to.
Well, we'll save money. We're not building a synagogue.
Yeah, we're going to a complete. Let me go to the next story here.
Tom's got the jokes.
Ready?
Wait till the racist one
Ready,
starts,
folks?
Circulating.
Ready, folks?
Here we go.
CVS, Walgreens, Macy's, and dozens more bracing for 1,500 store closures this year amid brutal retail calls and APAC. So this is a very additional. Let me read it one more time to you guys. Everything here. I'm going to read it one more time, Adam. Pay very close attention.
Yeah.
CVS, Walgreens, Macy's, and dozens more bracing for 15,000 store closures this year amid brutal retail calls. The APAC was just somebody wrote it here. It had nothing to do with APAC.
Yeah.
But I got Adam's attention. Let me read
you
it to you guys. Here we go.
Thank you, guys.
So no,
You're
this
building
is
temples for me.
Well, no.
You're
This
APAC.
is
Don't even
this
joke
is
about it.
What is this?
This is important.
Is Elmo on the show today,
this
guys?
is important.
What the hell's going on
Let me
here?
tell you
he
guys
actually
why
is.
this is important. This is very important, and the reason why this is important is because Adam shops at Walgreens. He gets his clothes from Walgreens. Walgreens has a
They
great
have
suit
great
section.
sweaters. Great sweaters.
And I don't care what anybody says about it. It's high quality
Guys,
stuff.
I want everybody to feel what I'm
core
feeling right now
site-
and not give a shit what anybody thinks.
A core site research report revealed that 5,822 stores closed in the first half of 1 year, with John Mercer, CoreSite's head of global research, stating U.S. store closure are up 2/3 compared to 1 year earlier. Damn. Wow. 2/3 just a year earlier? We're not talking 5 years. We're not talking 10 years. We're not even talking about practice. We're talking about a year ago.
Talk about practice?
2/3?
Talk about CVS? Nah.
Damn. While openings are
Playoffs.
flat. So closures up 2/3 and opening is flat.
Well, PBD.
Predicting up to 15,000 closures in 2025.
Why are you
Iconic department
surprised?
stores, Macy's. Well, I'm going to come to you.
Yeah.
Retailer Kohl's, pharmacy chains, Walgreens, CVS, and bankrupt Rite Aid, which closed over 1,000 locations, are among the high-profile retailers shutting underperforming stores. The closure of pharmacies, including dozens by Walgreens, CVS, have created a pharmacy desert, with Good RX research finding that more than 48 million Americans now lack access to a nearby drugstore, up from 41.2 million in 2021. Online competitors like Capsule, Blink Health, Amazon are impacting brick-and-mortar pharmacies due to their delivery methods and convenience. Tom, your thoughts on this story?
Well, once again, I love this. This is Daily Mail picking on the United States. So from the land of bad teeth, the Daily Mail in the UK wants to talk about us. Okay, well, check this out.
Man, you just upset a nice percentage of our audience in the UK. And their dentists.
That's right.
Tom is an anti-dentite.
Tom, give us some.
It's just like, you know, sort of the UK smile, sort of the West Virginia of Europe. So these people are saying, oh, no, now 41.2 million people don't have access to a pharmacy. Guess what, Vinny? That doesn't mean they don't have access to medication. Because guess what? Capsule, Blink Health, and Amazon are delivering right now. And, you know, Amazon has pharmacy services. And depending on where you are, you might get that stuff in an hour. Yeah. So you're not lacking access to emergency health services like a defibrillator and a paramedic. They're not lacking access to that. And they're not lacking access to medication. It's just there is a shift in how products are being delivered. Take a look at the way products are being delivered. I remember the first time I went out and I picked up, looked like just a rectangular box outside of a shoebox. I picked it up, it was heavy. I said, what is this? I opened up inside it. It was 6 jars of peanut butter, 3 chunky, 3 smooth. I said, Kim, why are we buying peanut butter like this? Because it's Amazon Prime. And we go through a lot of peanut butter this because,
you're white.
Well, Brooke was 2, Bailey was 7, and peanut butter on crackers, peanut butter on sandwiches. We went through a lot of peanut butter.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized it clicked for me. They just delivered this free, and wow. And so what's going on here is we're seeing the shift in the way products are being delivered, but the Daily Mail is choosing to make it sound like that there's terrible things going on in America and people are in pharmacy deserts. No. They may not have a pharmacy they can walk down to. And besides, everything would be behind glass doors now. We can say, I need one of those. And the guy's got to unlock it for you because of looting.
Mm-hmm. Weird.
But people still have access to medication. They don't lack access to medication. And so, and by the way, that maybe the Daily Mail can focus on those charts that Adam brought up, that over the last 10 years, we've doubled while you guys are there. You don't have the moral authority, Daily Mail, to talk about us and our economy, especially when you're spinning headlines.
Tom's choosing his enemies wisely. He's going with the Daily Mail.
Go ahead. Your thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm just going to simplify this. Is anybody surprised that brick and mortar stores are closing at this point? Every single month, every single year, we talk about more stores closing, more stores closing, more stores closing. This just happens to be the latest victim, which happens to be CVS and Walgreens and apparently Macy's. But it's been Kohl's, it's been JCPenney's, it's been Best Buy, it's been Rite Aid. The list goes on and on and on. Social media has taken over, and socializing is becoming sort of a discounted thing of the past. I remember back in the day, like the coolest thing to do when I was in 9th grade, go meet my friends at the mall, and we walk over and go to the movies and do that. And then maybe if we got lucky, we'd go to Walgreens and get some chips and snacks at the end of the night. Now you can Instacart everything, Amazon everything. Hell, if I want to go get a girl on Tinder, like you could just order whatever you want. So socializing has been replaced by social media. It is what it is. So customers don't need to leave their house anymore. There's nothing wrong with that. So online carts have replaced shopping carts. Now, if you're a business, like these businesses, you're saying, all right, do I really want to deal with these brick and mortar stores? Do I want to pay rent? Do I want to have employees and margins that I got to deal with? Or should I just move everything online? All it is just the same thing that keeps popping up over and over again, just with different stores in different locations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the model is changing, and they're going to keep getting disrupted. There's going to be many more businesses that are going to be going through this, especially with the speed that's taking place. The one announcement that YouTube made, which I thought was kind of weird, it was a sign against AI, okay? And I don't know if you guys saw this or not. YouTube announced that they only pay for real voices and original content starting today. That's today. Today is July 15th, right? Effective today, moving forward, if you have a YouTube channel, a faceless YouTube channel, by the way, that's a massive business model for a lot of people that create faceless YouTube channels, creating content generated by AI with the voice that's being made. Moving forward, they're not paying AdSense on it. If you want to go to the next page, Rob.
So what does this mean exactly?
So exactly, let me read it to you. So starting today, YouTube is implementing significant changes to its monetization policies. To qualify for a YouTube Partner Program, creators must now produce original content featuring real voices.
Oh, wow.
This is a very, very, and I'll give you my thoughts on this and we can move on. This means that videos relying on AI-generated voices, reuse content, or low-effort compilations will no longer be eligible for monetization. The platform aims to prioritize authenticity and creativity, ensuring that viewers receive valuable and engaging content. Rob, if you want to go to the next slide. What content is affected? YouTube, AI-generated voices, reuse or repetitive content, low effort. We saw this one. Go to the next page, Rob. And how to stay monetized. Use real voices, create unique and authentic content, add value through commentary or editing, avoid AI-generated or recycled. So What's the point here? Let me give you guys the bigger point here, folks. It's so important. It's so important on what this is validating. The more and more and more we move towards AI, the more and more and more we're going to value the human touch. Mm-hmm. Such a beautiful thing. Even YouTube. What do you think YouTube cares about? Eyeballs? Money? Advertisers. Even YouTube is saying that's not as important as us making sure human beings are being recognized. Respect. So this is a very important position YouTube took, because YouTube is saying we're recognizing human beings of content creators, not machines and robots. And I guarantee you at YouTube headquarters, there's a lot of AI being used. I guarantee you there's a lot of automation being used. There's a lot of that being used. But people want to hear from other people. People want to hear your opinion. People want to hear what you think about it. Yes, we use ChatGPT. Yes, MIT came out and gave 10 reasons why, using ChatGPT isn't good for you because it's making our brain, weaker because it's not putting it to work. But at the end of the day, the human touch is a magical thing that's going to keep happening. So the more and more disruption happens, the more we're going to come back to the human touch.
By the way, I enjoyed your most recent segment that you did about the challenges of AI. And how, you thought that the kids are going to use it to cheat. Well, now the teachers are using it to grade papers. And basically how AI is disrupting what you can do.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. So,
Stay on that point. Stay on that point what you just said.
It was a great just sort of understanding that the humanity within us is the most important thing. How we use AI is more important than how AI uses us. Anyone could just type something in. All right, spit it out. You gave an example of how somebody, it wasn't me, I promise you this, when they text you a response that they're ChatGPTing.
Every text response I get from these 5 people, there's like 5 or 6 people.
How long are they? It's just long?
No, it's not. It's they take my message and I visualize what they're doing. They take my text and put it in ChatGPT and say, Patrick Bet-David sent me this message. Here's what I'd like to say to him. How do I respond back in the best possible way to not upset him? And then I'm like, do you not know the codes on how to read ChatGPT text message?
And you don't speak like that normally.
I'm like, why do you just tell me, talk to me?
They should probably delete the part that says Patrick Bet-David is an Iranian-born American entrepreneur.
You know what it is?
Give you another option.
Exactly.
Start using words like insegrevious. He never uses that
word. That's right. Yeah. So the part that this MIT article was talking about, and another article we were looking at with Brandon, is that originally teachers were chewing out kids, saying, stop using ChatGPT to write your paper because I'm going to find out. So guess what teachers are now doing? They're taking the homework that the kids are writing, putting it in ChatGPT, allowing ChatGPT to grade the paper.
Yeah.
So teachers are now not working to do their part. So it's now double. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Everybody's involved.
Here's something that I want to emphasize, and I think this is the central theme of what you're saying. Remember when we did the Ritz-Carlton training, which was great? PBD brought in Ritz-Carlton. They talked about unreasonable hospitality.
Ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Tom.
No problem. I'm here if you need me.
You stay right there. And you came up and you gave a speech, and you said something to the effect of, social capital has never been more important. And I actually wrote that down. I was like, what does that mean? The ability to interact with humans and say, hey, what's up, man? How are you? Every single component that the world has been basically built upon, interacting with one another, has never been more important. As AI, as ChatGPT, as all these things are popping up and making us more robotic and needing less human interaction, that's when we'll start to see the need and the craving for more human interaction. Why did you focus on social capital and use those specific terms? Do you remember saying that?
Yeah, of course. I'll spend a little bit of time on that. I'm going to go to the next story. Here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Guy comes up to me. We launch Connect. Guy comes up to me and he says the following. He says, Patrick, you realize, let me show you what I built for you. So what's that? He shows it to me. He said, based on all the content that you have online and all the material that you have online, we decided to take all your books, all your videos, everything, and we're able to get an accuracy score of around 98% of whatever you would respond to, and you don't have to be anywhere. This app can do that for you. I said, that's exactly what I'm trying to get away from. He says, what do you mean? I said, that's why we built Connect. On Connect, when somebody asks you a question, you get real audio. And by the way, if somebody responds back on Connect with ChatGPT response on X, you get a 1-star. That's why I love Menect. People give 1-star reviews, and so you'll go to somebody and like, I don't want to Menect this guy. He doesn't give real answers.
It's not a good
And then you'll go to somebody and like, this guy's a 4.8 star. I want to talk to this guy. This guy gives real answers, right? That's a beautiful part about Menect, that we can have a real life conversation. By the way, those of you guys that I got the story I want to get to right after this, a story about what happened with the tariffs for Brazil and Russia and Putin and Bolsonaro. One of the things he's doing with Brazil is very interesting. But some of you guys that were competing for the Menect contest, Rob, if you can go to the Menect.com and go to the Leaders Bulletin, the dinner is about to come up. I cannot wait to have it. I don't want to announce it. But the dinner is about to come up. Winner's going to be chosen by the end of the month. Look at this right now by lightweight. You look who's first place now for lightweight. John Kiraku. Okay, he's responded to 61 completed Menect.
I Menected him.
He was just on podcast last week.
Yeah, good job, John.
And he's a former CIA officer, the first ever whistleblower to go against the government, and he's responding on Menect. He's first place now.
Sick.
Ashley Glenn second. Then you have Julio Gonzalez, accountant. He's given a lot of counsel on that. And you got a bunch of other guys that are competing. Now, keep in mind, Ryan Old YouTuber, he's also there. You can ask him a question. Giancarlo, a G, who gives very good answers.
I love that
bunch
guy.
of other guys that are on there. Right now, if you go to middleweight, your top 3 will be competing in each category. Combined score, June and July, folks. Dean Mason, first place at 127. Aaron Mont, second place. Tommy Robinson is third place. You got DJ Shipley, the man, Navy SEAL Team 10, stud of a guy. Patricia Velasquez, Konstantin Koropov, Wade Wine, good guy. Roman Sharf, watch questions, ask him. Amy Dangerfield, Bradley, stud of a guy. Go to heavyweight. Then you have John Mason. Daniel DeBrincat, who my kids were bullying yesterday.
I saw him. Gave him a wedgie.
Sebastian Garcia, Michael Mara, Sardor, Santino, a bunch of guys. Sapala, Brock, Patrick William, Cap, and then go to the super heavyweight. She's going to break a record this month. Lindy Lee.
Wow.
She's already done 278 completed Menect. The record for the most Menects done in a month completed is 478. She's going to shatter it. Vinny's right behind her. Timothy Ryan, myself, Tom, Elliot, Sauce, Vargas, bunch of other guys. And then go to users. Look what's going on to users asking questions. Rob, go to users all the way at the top. Yeah, users. Look at the users for new people, okay? Kylan Webb, first place, asked 22 Menects. Wow. These are people that are asking questions, and they will be also invited to the dinner, the competitors.
Look at the heavy one.
Yeah, and then go to heavyweight. Look who's at the top for heavyweight.
I don't recognize any of those names. They asked me 0 questions.
Existing.
Look at Zeus.
Damn. He's asked 303 questions on there.
Wow.
Dalton, Dorothy. Dalton and Dorothy have a real thing going on competitively.
Dorothy doesn't play games.
No, she doesn't. Then you have Hecka, Chris, Ryan.
Hecka's awesome.
Bunch of Harriet, Anas, and Eric. So anyways, excited to see what happens with the Menect dinner, and who'll be invited to it. Go download the app, start Menecting today. By the way, some massive announcements will be made on Menect at the Vault Conference.
Okay.
Can't
Is
wait.
the dinner this month?
No, dinner's going to be next month.
Vinny, just
another
you'll
dinner
announce
is
it.
this month.
I'm
Another dinner.
excited.
All right, let's talk about tariffs. So check this out.
Obsessed.
The president is pissed. Trump's Brazil tariff threat is part of a bigger geopolitical dispute, and he's trying to find a way. Rob, if you got a clip on this one, if you want to pull it up, I think you do. If you can go to it. This is about the Brazil thing on page 7. So let me read this to you, because this is when it's getting tricky, but I like what he's doing. Go for it, Rob.
Maybe at some point I'll talk to him. Right now, I'm not. They're treating President Bolsonaro very unfairly. He's a good man. You know, I know him well. I negotiated with him. He was a very tough negotiator, and I can tell you he was a very honest man, and he loved the people of Brazil. He was a very tough guy to negotiate with. I shouldn't like him because he was very tough in negotiation, but he was also very honest. And I know the honest ones, and I know the crooked ones.
Pause right there. So President Trump threatened a 50% tariff on Brazil, driven by his support for Bolsonaro and frustration with Brazil rolling bricks. A coalition, which he views as a threat due to its push for a reserve currency alternative to the U.S. dollar. Trump wrote on Truth Social, "This is nothing more or less than an attack on political opponents, something I know a lot about," and accused Brazil of issuing hundreds of secret and unlawful censorship orders on U.S. social media platforms. The decision followed by BRICS Summit in Rio de Janeiro, which Mauricio Clever-Colón, a close ally to Secretary Marco Rubio and Trump's former special envoy Latin, said tipped the scale. And obviously, while this is going on, There's a bunch of other decisions being made with New York Times even came out on a story talking about behind Trump's decision to tax Brazil, to say Bolsonaro. Eduardo Bolsonaro, his son, good guy, 41 years old. He's a sitting Brazilian congressman and son of Bolsonaro, has been lobbying U.S. officials, claiming the Brazil Supreme Court Justice Alexandre de Moraes, not a good guy, is targeting him and his father for fighting a stolen election, prompting Trump to post online. This is nothing more or less than an attack on a political opponent, something I know a lot about, which happens to me times 10. And so they're driving this. Now, obviously, Trump's decision to impose tariffs, described by Steve Bannon as "I love it," and a more move even he hadn't considered was made alone, according to two people familiar with the private meeting, with Bannon stating, if you drop the trial and drop the charges, the tariffs go away. Tom, your thoughts on this?
Well, it's interesting. Both the New York Times and Politico, want to call it tariffs because they could point at the president. Well, screw you both. Screw you both, Politico and New York Times, because the word you should be using here? You should be using 3 words: economic sanctions and leadership. When around the world countries behave badly, the United States has shown up with these 2 words, economic sanctions, and it's because of leadership. And that's exactly what the president is doing here. Oh, more tariffs going to create problems, more tariffs. The tariff is merely a tool of the economic sanction, and tariffs have been part of economic sanctions forever. There's 2 big things in your arsenal you can use. You can use a blockade, and you can use tariffs, which cuts off oxygen to the economy of the party that's offending. Like when, Iraq invades Kuwait, and you're like, okay, man, we're going to come in and save them, or we're going to, have a blockade here. This is not going to end well for you, dude. We're taking economic sanctions. And so the president, in the name of free elections and in the name of thwarting the false, phony monkey trial and false imprisonment of Bolsonaro, is trying to get their opinion. And let me tell you, it's not going to take much because he's about to get their opinion. The other thing is they're trying to line up with there's a very interesting thing in BRICS, and it's right in the middle of BRICS, and it's the I for India. India's trying to play nice on one hand. On the other hand, they're part of BRICS. And so South Africa is South Africa. I said, but Brazil, they're getting their attention. He's getting their attention. But this is economic sanctions. This isn't tariffs. Tariff is just a tool. He's going after it, and he's trying to do this in the name of freedom, in the name of free elections, in the name of
question is it going to work? That's the question. Will it work or will it not work? Well, are the Brazilian people going to do anything about it? Is Alexandre de Moraes really going to give a shit about the 50%? The number that came out with the story that you see combined with the story, and Adam, I'm going to come to you. Coffee prices climb after Trump threatens 50% tariff on Brazil. And so that the economy is going to take a hit with that. Buyers are going to feel it. The 50% tariffs, the world's biggest coffee producer, starting August 1st, as stated in a letter posted on Truth Social on Wednesday, accusing Brazil government of attacking free speech. Arabica coffee prices in New York climbed more than 3.5% on Thursday morning, later settled around 2.5% higher, with a trader noting the letter is sending shockwaves across the coffee industry due to U.S.'s Brazil main coffee buyer. Giuseppe Lavazza, chair of Lavazza Group, which owns Lavazza Coffee, warned on Wednesday before Trump's Brazil tariff threat, the tariffs between the U.S. and coffee-producing countries like Brazil and Vietnam would be challenging, stating the problem is to have tariffs between U.S. and Brazil, U.S. and Vietnam, U.S. and all other countries where coffee is produced, predicting a rise in the cost of coffee in the U.S. by approximately 34%. So we'll see what's going to happen with this one here. Adam, your thoughts on this, exchange with Brazil?
So I actually have a question for you, why you're been so focused on Brazil. Because born and raised in Miami, I have a lot of Brazilian friends. When I think of Brazil, I think of 3 things: soccer, beautiful samba beats, and massive corruption. Massive corruption. Everyone I know who goes to Brazil, they're like, oh, you got to be careful. You got to have security. Be careful from the favelas. If you go to the beach, it's incredible. And you know what? Just never been a thing on my thing. I don't focus on Brazil at all. But I've learned from you when you sat down with Jair Bolsonaro, when you had an entire Brazilian panel on it. Why is it so important to you? Because there's multiple countries in Latin America. We hopefully keep them from going the way of El Salvador or Mexico or Guatemala, these countries that are coming here. Lula, socialist. We've seen what's going on there. Jair Bolsonaro has been called Trump of the tropics. I want to understand why Brazil has been so important to you on this program.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I named my daughter after Ayrton Senna. This morning I'm walking in a community. This lady who's a worker in the community, I noticed she pulls up the car and she parks right in front of me and she keeps driving in front of me. And I'm like, whoa. So then all of a sudden my paranoid radar is like, okay, something's about to happen. So I'm ready now. I don't know who's in the car. Then she gets out of the car. Then she starts walking up to me. I'm like, okay, at least she's got a smile on her face. Probably in her mid to late 40s. And I said, hi. She says, hi. She said, I just want to tell you, we really appreciate what you're doing for Brazil. This is this morning at 6:37 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I said, oh, thanks. She said, my son never misses a single show that you do. He watches everything. And I said, well, thank you. And I said about Jair Bolsonaro, Eduardo, all this stuff. She said, I watch all of them. You know, we appreciate what you got going on for Brazil. I told her about my son, my daughter being named Senna. I love Brazilians. They're such incredible people. I enjoy their company. They're loud, they're funny, they're fun. They're good to be around. The food, the jokes, the sarcasm, the soccer, the racing, the history. It's a great experience. And it's another place that when shitty politics get a hold of a great country, they destroy a great nation. As a kid, when you grow up, in Iran, the number one sport in the world was football in Iran. You followed everything with soccer. You always knew the names. You know, you knew Pele. The other day, Dylan had a meeting with the former captain of the Brazilian national team, Emerson. Emerson, I don't know if you type in Emerson, Brazil soccer, he's a legend. And Emerson spent a few hours with Dylan, and he's grabbing Dylan's calves, and he's like, he's got soccer legs. He's got soccer legs. Yeah, Emerson, OG Emerson, old school Emerson. Just type in Emerson, Brazil captain. Captain, if you tap in, it should come up. That's the one right there. Yeah, this guy was a G. I mean, he was a legend in what he did, winning multiple World Cups, I believe, when he was out there. Maybe one or two. He won a couple of them.
You said that when you went to Brazil and you did the interview. Brasilia. You describe that city and like the communist background of that city.
They build it in such a communistic way where everything looks the same. And they build it away from everything. So if they ever want to protest to go to the government, it's so far that nobody wants to go to it. Weird. It's not a place you want to. Vinny, did you go with us?
I didn't go.
Did you go with us? Who went with us when we went there?
No.
Well, let me tell you, man. While we're at the airport coming back, you're telling the story. We're waiting 12 hours at the airport. Rob, you were there, right?
Yes. Was there.
12 hours we're waiting at the airport to leave. And we have a direct flight to Miami. Last minute, people are worried about what's going on. We just ended up flying to Peru.
Really?
We ended up flying to Peru, and then we flew from Peru to here because it was, we have security with us. The security's waiting with. It was a very weird place to be. But the people, phenomenal. The food, ridiculous. We went to this one joint we ate. I can't wait to go back. Except I'd like to go back when Brazil is free again, not held hostage by this guy named Alexandre.
I have one more question for you on this. We consistently see certain countries in Latin America that no matter what, keep going back to socialist policies. Like you see what happened in some of the numbers that have come out of Argentina lately with what's our friend's name over there? Javier Milei, afuera, about how he's basically reversed sort of the unemployment, the inflation, all the economic numbers, the housing, everything like that, what he's been able to do in Argentina. Why consistently, in some countries, in Latin America specifically, do they keep going back to this BS socialist policies?
I'll keep it simple, and I'll go to my next story that has to do with this. Because manipulating, brainwashing, and owning the poor is a great business model that they use everywhere around the world, and they're easy to control. Because you use the most magical four-letter word that starts with the letter F. And it's so effective. There is no more powerful word to own a group of people than dropping that F-bomb. Free. We're going to give you free programs, free healthcare, free food. Oh, my God. That F word gets a hold of everybody, and it brings the worst people in power and destroys an entire nation. And this is the one that you're talking about with numbers that we saw. On December 10th of 2023, Milei becomes the first libertarian president. The leftists freak out. 1.5 years later, this is what the numbers look like. Brought monthly inflation down from 25.5% to 1.5%, a 5-year low. Brought the poverty rate down to an estimated 33.7% 6-year low, scrapped rent controls resulting in a 40% decrease in rent prices in Buenos Aires, achieved Argentina's first budget surplus in 14 years, delivered 7.6% year-over-year GDP growth in Q2 of 2025, and guess who is trying to do all the policies that he fixed in New York City? A guy named Mamdani. Watch this here.
Yeah.
Mamdani, the stuff that's coming out. One time, I don't know if you saw the story, Rob, or not, there was a story of Mamdani does a podcast about 4 or 5 years ago. In a podcast, he talks about the fact that the NYPD shouldn't show up if there's domestic violence. Why call the cops when there's a domestic violence call? Cops shouldn't show up because other people should show up. Well, what do you mean? This is literally a story of 5 years ago. Zohran Mamdani said NYPD shouldn't respond to domestic violence calls in resurfaced podcast interview. Can you imagine that? So an idea of domestic violence, a woman's being beaten, no, don't call the cops because they don't know what they're doing. Go a little bit lower on the story. Okay, and by the way, this is not that long ago, Rob, if you can go, a little bit higher so I can read the story. You skipped all of it, yeah. Okay, so Mamdani resurfaced that NYPD shouldn't be responsible for domestic violence calls. The Democratic Socialist said 5 years ago NYPD shouldn't respond to it due to calls to fear escalation. If somebody is surviving, going through domestic violence, there are so many different situations that would far better be handled by people trained to deal with this specific situations as opposed to an individual with a gun who has received quite a limited amount of training in general, but also in regards to specific situation. Do you know what is the definition of domestic violence? Can you go to the definition, Rob, of domestic violence? Just type in, what does domestic violence mean? Okay? What does domestic violence mean? Okay, zoom in a little bit. What it means.
Imported.
Domestic violence definition refers to pattern of abusive behavior relation of one partner against someone. Okay, spouses, romantic partners, family members. But types of domestic violence: physical abuse, hitting, slapping, pushing, choking, or using weapons. Okay, now ask the question: what role do cops play when it comes down to domestic violence? What role do cops play in domestic violence? Isn't there the word violence in there?
Yeah.
Isn't violence like something that you call cops to protect you from?
Yeah.
And violence means violence, right?
Critical role, by the way.
In responding to preventing and investigating domestic violence, their responsibility can vary by jurisdiction, but generally include the following. Police are often the first responders to 911 calls, 911 calls. Their priority is to secure the scene, protect the victims. They separate the parties. They may help the victim get medical attention, relocate to shelters, other kind of support, evidence collection and arrest. Okay?
We've all seen the show
legal
Cops before
follow-up.
when the cops show
This
up.
guy's trying to be the mayor of New York City, and he makes comments like this. However, there's a city in Florida called Palm Beach.
Oh, yeah.
Tom, that wants to cash in on the Mamdani Effect. Okay? That wants to cash in on the Mamdani Effect. So what is the Mamdani Effect? Palm Beach County Business Development Board is actively courting New York City businesses, sending 500 relocation packages to CEOs and executives as socialist Mamdani leads polls with 35% against Cuomo 29, Curtis Silva 16, and Mayor Adams 13.8. The board's president and CEO told Palm Beach Post, the second the results came out, my phone started lighting up. She added, it's a good thing we are very nimble. We can act quickly and strike when the iron is hot. John Boyd, who runs a Boca Raton-based company aiding corporate relocations, warned the Mamdani Effect, stating, here's something one of my clients shared. Even if Mamdani is stopped in November, the idea that New York is one election cycle away from becoming a socialist-run city creates an enormous risk for companies. Polls indicate Mamdani leads after defeating Cuomo in Democratic primary. Boyd noted the perception could drive business and wealthy residents to Florida regardless of the election outcome. Tom.
This is wonderful. This is startup mentality and capitalism at work. This is when Pat and I went to a conference that was put on by a business organization. And at that conference, we met the mayor of Frisco, Texas. And by the way, this conference was roughly 1,000 miles from Frisco, Texas. So it wasn't like he was in his home backyard. Hey, welcome to Frisco. How you doing? Can I get you a beer? No, we were hell and gone from Frisco. But he was saying, hey, we're out here to promote the fact that we have economic development packages, blah, 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 blah. This is also the governor of Texas, Perry, was running billboards in California. Does this state suck? Here's one that doesn't, right? You know, come to Texas. And by the way, they all flipped out. California flipped out because guess what? California may be liberal, but the guy that owned the billboards was a capitalist. You have a check? You have a message? Okay, we have a deal. And so now Palm Beach County is like, well, okay, we have 500 relocation packets going up to people, and we've got the local real estate people saying, wow, things just picked up over the weekend. Guess what? New York is about to shoot itself in its other foot. It shot itself in the foot with COVID and what it did in COVID and how people were upset by that and people fled New York and left at that time. Now it's going to shoot itself in its other foot because a guy whose religious beliefs are such that if you're involved with domestic violence with your wife, that's okay because you own her. And under Sharia law, I don't have to be subject to a cop.
Wow.
It says, she burnt my toast. You know, one slap, good morning, 2 slaps, I love you. You know, there's a whole rate card here that goes in this.
What you mentioned something about Sharia law. What's Sharia law? I'm starting to hear this thing pop up from time to time. Describe what that is, if you don't mind.
That is an independent set of laws of people of the Islamic faith who believe that, you know, they should be self-governed separately.
Okay. So is there a separation between church and state or mosque and state under
no,
Sharia law?
They believe that law is above the law of any jurisdiction they're living in, because the laws of the infidels or the jurisdiction of a country which is run by infidels is second to their laws.
Interesting.
So
I'm starting to hear this pop up from time to time now, the Sharia law thing and this jihad thing. What other countries in the world practice Sharia law currently?
I could, pick any of them that surround.
But Tom, you can be right, because what ChatGPT says is Sharia law is to practice compassion. Go a little bit lower, Rob. No, you just had it.
Where?
Right there. It says it's meant to promote justice, compassion, and moral behavior.
Oh, okay.
It is interpreted differently depending on the country and the school of thought, Sunni and Shia and the legal scholar. So, you know.
Which countries are using it the most, Rob?
Can I ask a question too? But can you?
Oh, the Islamic.
Where did this come from?
The Islamic Republic of Iran uses that. Interesting.
But can you?
There's no separation of church and state or mosque and state.
Is there any state? Is there any?
In Iran.
Is there any?
So, are you saying that Zohran Mamdani wants to implement Sharia law and infuse communism in New York?
My wife burnt the toast under Sharia law. You'll find out.
Oh, here it is. In Afghanistan under Taliban control, they practice it. That's nice. Okay. Sudan, where I think, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of people
look at
have
Afghanistan
died
Bullet 2. Will you read that one, Adam?
Yeah.
You're very interested in learning about
Bullet
this. How
2,
about
yeah.
Afghanistan Bullet 2?
Yeah, includes bans on female education beyond grade 6, public beatings, and morality police enforcement.
Oh, they do have police.
Wait a minute. I thought
that's the
ChatGPT
women.
says compassion.
Well, this is compassion. They let them go up to grade 6.
Can you ask ChatGPT?
Up to grade 6.
I thought you said compassion. Does point number 2 on Afghanistan represent compassion?
Yeah.
Let's see what ChatGPT says.
I did have compassion. You're lucky I didn't kill you.
And just
I'm not going
FYI
to sit here as a red-blooded American, have you condemn Sharia law.
Well, first of all,
it may come to America.
No.
We better be ready for it.
No city is
Vinny,
or ever will be, because
you
guess
need
what?
to be a little bit more
Guess
inclusive
what you have to do? They
and
have
receptive to
the
new ideas.
The Constitution would have to be overthrown.
No, I don't know about
so
that.
So guess what?
Why were you?
Good luck. And you know what the crazy thing about all these places, Adam? About all the UK and everywhere? Guess what, buddy? Second Amendment. Nobody talks all that shit and does any of that shit. But listen, little Mamdani with his fake ass smile could talk all the shit that he wants and how, Sharia law and all these. No city is there. No, unless they literally overthrow this place, ain't going to happen, brother.
Why don't Vinny?
We got guns.
Wait.
Why don't you just be a little bit? Hold on.
Are
Why
there
don't you just
Sharia
be
law
a
courts
little
in the United States?
More receptive.
Are there Sharia? What do you
Vinny?
mean?
Oh, they're in Dearborn and Minneapolis.
You're saying it's not possible to happen here?
No, what I'm saying
Vinny,
is,
why don't you
there
just be a little bit more receptive
is there any city,
to something new?
Is there any city here under Sharia law in the United States? Is there any city?
What's wrong with it, though?
Rob, I'm just curious. And Rob, ask this: is there any city here, number one, under Sharia law? And what would it have to take to actually have a city under Sharia law?
But what's wrong with it?
No, but I'm curious, Vinny. I'm really curious.
Yeah,
you don't think it's possible for it to happen here
no,
in America?
I'm saying it's no, I didn't say that. What I'm saying is they would have to overthrow the Constitution of the United States.
Nah, you just get a mayor in there in New
So,
York.
Rob,
That's what I'm
can
saying.
you do me a favor and play the clip I just sent you, Rob? Play the clip I just sent you. It's becoming more and more and more evident what the motive
Prohibits
is.
any religious laws from
and trust me, the community that doesn't think it's possible, they will be in 20 years having a very different tone. I want you to watch this here. Okay, go ahead, Rob.
Through Congress. So before it was by the sword, now it's getting themselves into Parliament and then making laws that act as the sword, the Islamophobia law in Canada, M103.
Yeah. Muslim Brotherhood.
I find that there are only two things which are open to our movements: ballot or bullet, nothing in between.
I used to say that democracy is haram. Now I say participation in democracy is our jihad. That's our jihad. We're going to fight not through the bullets, but the ballot.
Going to the ballot and voting is now an obligatory action, fard ayn. And it is a jihad that is now needs to be done because this is our modern jihad. You can elect a person who wants the Sharia.
Because in the United States, what we do know is that in the past election, just this last election, there have been over 800 Muslim candidates running for office.
Bingo.
We may end up with about 50 members of Congress in the next 6 years. That's really the essence of dismantling the system of injustice, is to replace it with the people who represent the Prophet ﷺ.
Oh, damn.
What's
that was very aggressive.
Doc wanted to make sure you got the point.
Those are politicians that are running for office in Muslim countries in the Middle East?
And there are Sharia law courts in America.
Where are those people located?
Used by the people of those communities rather than U.S. courts and resources.
But those politicians, I want to be very clear here. Where were those people located? That they were in the Middle East? Or were they in America?
Those interviewers, some of the interviewers were in the Middle East.
That's all America there.
Oh, that was in America. Okay.
Adam, I'm sensing you're being sarcastic. What
just
I'm
a little
saying
bit.
is anything's possible, but good luck.
Are you trying to tell
Good
me?
luck.
Are you trying to tell me that certain hardcore extremists, maybe Muslim Sharia law advocates, are trying their best to do that in America and in Europe?
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Well,
trying
no,
to say?
In Europe, they're being very successful.
You're
because-
saying they've done it already in
No,
Europe?
In Europe, yeah.
Are you trying to tell me there's certain cities in Europe
Adam,
that
what's-
have been
what's the-
overrun
but
with
here's my-
extremists?
what's the difference between
Stop it,
what's the
Vinny.
difference
I don't
between UK
believe
and the
it.
United States?
Do you have videos of this?
What's the difference between the UK and the United States?
We got a Second Amendment. I don't know.
I know. I guess I'm not saying they're not going to try. Good luck.
But
bring that war to us.
Here's actually what I'm okay with. I'm actually not even joking here. It's okay. They could do it here if we could do it there. So there's a lot of Christians and Jews running for office in Muslim-run countries, right?
I don't know. You tell me.
Let me just show you something.
Oh, there's zero?
Not exactly.
There's zero?
Can you show this
Oh.
next one, Rob? Go ahead and
That's
play
a
this
double
next clip.
standard,
This is
if
from
you ask
Muslim
me.
Brotherhood from 1990.
This is
okay.
The same Muslim Brotherhood
from 1990.
that is the...
okay.
It looks like the same clip.
No, it's not, Rob. Maybe I sent you the same clip, but it's a different one. I'll send it to you. Give me 1 second. So this is a lady from Muslim Brotherhood in 1990 casting the vision. That's 35 years ago.
Let her speak?
You got to give respect to long-term thinkers.
Who, Ilhan Omar?
No, it's the one I just sent you here. No, it's not Ilhan Omar. I just sent it to you,
Rashida
Rob.
Tlaib?
No, it's old.
So this is going to become a real issue very soon because momentum hasn't yet reached levels of exponential growth, but they're going to get there. Go ahead, Rob. Play this clip.
Melting pot. We do not want to melt into American society and disappear. We want to go into American society with Islamic ideals and revamp their thinking. We want to revamp them. We want to turn them into Muslim individuals. We shouldn't have feelings of distaste for them or intolerance because they're potential Muslim. Education is one of the most important areas that Muslims have to address. And while our objective, our final objective, is not just to become part of the system that we experience now and that we see, our objective, our final objective, is to create our own Islamic systems, and not only create Islamic systems for Muslims, but to look at all the other people who are sharing this country with us as potential Muslims. And in that long-range process, of making America Muslim, all of America Muslim, American melting pot. We do not want...
You can pause it right there.
Interesting. So it's almost like they're telling us what they want to do.
Their vision is clear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
The vision is clear on what they're coming.
Do you believe them, though?
We'll think 35, what was it, 1990? So 35 years later, Mamdani's going to try to be the mayor of New York.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Try to be.
No, he's going to win.
Try to
I think
be.
he's going to
He
like
is-
90%.
He's got such a big lead. Is this what is this about?
Mark
Ron?
Halpern stating that Mamdani has about an 85%.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Rob.
That's correct.
President Trump calls him Mamdani the commie. I just want to ask you, shrewd political guy
Mamdani
that
the
you
commie.
are, can Mamdani be beaten here in New York?
Not today. There was some opposition research dropped on him, and if there's something that's akin to a silver bullet against a communist, maybe. But barring that, I think he's got an 85% chance of being his honor come next year.
Wow. All these, I'm going to come to Byron on it in a second. All these, big shots, financiers, are creating PACs, to beat him. But there are some that are sort of sucking up to him also. So it's a two-way street. So does that matter? I mean, you have the New York Post on a daily basis and other publications on a daily basis, heaven forbid, even commentators like myself, ripping him apart, taking him down, and particularly the law and order issue. So, but you're saying right now he's the winner right now. The voter today, Mark Halpern says he's the winner.
Oh, yeah. Larry, you can be really good at making money and really stupid about politics. And I think the fundamental mistake they're making, I've met a donor or two who doesn't know much about politics but think they do. Maybe you have as well. The problem is they don't have a candidate. Tip O'Neill said all politics is local, and people say that's the first rule of politics. It's actually the second. The first rule of politics is you can't beat someone with no one. Huh. Mayor Adams, which is where most of our wealthy colleagues and friends are putting their money, look at the polling, look at the data. These are folks who make money in business looking at metrics and data.
Right there, Rob. You can pause it right there. They don't, they don't have a candidate right now to go up against them. Even Chris, who is the Republican candidate. I'd love to talk to every one of these guys. They don't have a real candidate right now. Curtis Silva,
Curtis.
Sliwa.
He's sort of been like an ongoing
He's been
perpetual
around for a while.
Republican
Yeah,
candidate.
but it's a different story today.
Can't trust a beret.
And Anthony...
can't trust anybody that wears a beret all day and it's red.
Andrew Cuomo said that he's not dropping out of the race, right?
Yeah, he's going independent.
So he's
right?
like purposely trying to
He purposely
get
wants to usher in this, right? I mean, if you think about it, thank you, Adam. Great point. If you're
well,
being
the only
that
way that
guy,
they're going to win is if it's a head-to-head race.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So
is
now
what,
you're going to basically just cannibalize each other's votes?
Yeah, but what is like?
What
is Andrew's goal? Like, what are you trying to do?
I don't know.
Run interference? Because all you're going to do is help the other guy. You're going
is
to
this
help.
a message from him?
Yes, this is the announcement yesterday that he is running as an independent for the New York City mayor race.
Hello, I'm Andrew Cuomo.
Hey,
and unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know that the Democratic primary did not go the way I had hoped. To the 440,000 New Yorkers who voted for me, a sincere thank you. Thank you for believing in me, in my agenda, and in my experience. And I am truly sorry that I let you down. But as my grandfather used to say, when you get knocked down, learn the lesson and pick yourself back up and get in the game. And that is what I'm going to do. The fight to save our city isn't over. Only 13% of New Yorkers voted in the June primary. The general election is in November, and I am in it to win it. My opponent, Mr. Mamdani, offers slick slogans, but no real solutions. We need a city with lower rent, safer streets, where buying your first home is once again possible.
You can pause it right now. I'm just, the Mamdani effect is truly motivational energy. The young guys, that are going after, to be run. There's nobody like that they're excited about. Nope. You know what's a great documentary to watch? I just watched Roger Stone's documentary. Have you seen it, Roger, on Netflix?
Get Me Roger Stone?
First time I had him on, I watch it, but I watch it again. I think for anybody that has interest in politics, they should watch this documentary. Oh. It is such an insightful documentary.
Yeah.
I watched it many, many years ago. First time I had him. Yeah. If you watch it, it gives you insight in the political game as a sport, what it's like. And there's so many lessons in there about the rules, different talents, different individuals. Nothing you see, everything that he talks about, the people have on the Mamdani side, not the opposite side. Yeah. I mean, I had Adams here, and I'm talking to him, and I'm like, okay, A little bit more. Can you give me some? It's like, give me some. It was just a lot of, you can tell the answers were the same answers he's given hundreds of times. There was nothing about it where I'm like, I'm going to run through the wall for this guy. And you want to see somebody else do it, but unfortunately, it looks like New York is going in this direction.
So neither Adams nor Andrew Cuomo are getting the groundswell support from the people.
No, listen, let me tell you. In
Personality matters. So
PHP,
people like dogs.
Insurance, right? There's a difference in a person that builds like a corporate executive. I'll never forget one time we have a meeting and my 5 new executives that I hired, all C-suite, they all came in and they found out how much my insurance guys were making. And I don't know if you remember this meeting or not. They're like, hey, are we really paying that guy $1.5 million a year? Are we really paying that person $800,000? And they're all making between $200,000 to $300,000, $200,000 to $400,000. I said, yes. Well, I mean, listen, you know, the stuff that we do and and I think this and I said, oh, really? Yeah, for sure. Oh, okay, all right. So you think you guys should deserve to get paid? Well, I mean, maybe not as much, but I mean, look at the stuff that we do and da-da. I said, oh, no problem. I said, let me ask you, what time do you come into the office? 8 a.m. When do you typically leave? If I was to go up and look and see what time you leave. 6 o'clock. So you work 8 to 6. Yeah. All right. What time were you here Saturday? We don't work on Saturdays. What time were you at the office on Sunday? What time were you in the office last Saturday? When's the last time you were in on a Saturday? We don't come Saturday. We work Monday. Oh, okay. Let me call a few guys, and I started calling a bunch of my guys. I said, what appointments do you have tonight? What's your last appointment tonight? 10 o'clock at night. What was your first appointment today? 8 a.m. What's your schedule look like on Saturday? 8 o'clock, I start at the office training till 12, and I have appointments all night till 8 o'clock. What are you doing on Sunday? I got 2 conference calls and I got 2 client appointments.
Busy.
I said, okay, how about next week? Walk me. I said, Pat, is everything okay? I said, no, you're good. Trust me. I'm trying to tell the executives here, you're on speaker, what your sales schedule look like. Then I call the next guy, and the next guy, I said, you guys want to make $1.2 million? Go run their schedule if you want. What's the point here? Cuomo, if he wants to win, he's running like a corporate executive. And Mamdani is running like a guy that's going and winning votes. You ain't going to beat him. Now, none of these guys are going to beat him if they don't run like that. To win an election at the mayoral level, you got to work like a freaking psycho. Day to day, shaking hands. How you doing? Coffee shop. The magic at this level is to be seen at 50 different locations at the same time. You know when was the first time, Tom, you and I were on the phone till 3:30 in the morning when Trump won 2016.
That's right.
And that one time when you're like, Pat, did you see what New York Times just said? Did you see what New York Times just said? Did you see this, Pat? I think it's happening. We're on the call. We're like, what the fuck? Did this just really? You're looking at Trump's face. He can't believe he won.
Yeah.
He's on stage. He's like, I thought I was 80% down today. Hillary was supposed to. The look on his face on stage is the best look on his face because he himself didn't think he was going to be the president. Boom, he's a president. She's conceding. Everyone's crying. It's game over. But there was a moment when I said, this guy's got a chance of killing Hillary. And you know when it was? It was when I saw Trump was doing 6 rallies in a day and Hillary was doing 1 every 3 days.
Wow.
And I watched the way Trump campaigned. I said, good luck beating that guy. Go ahead. Campaign like him.
Yeah.
Kamala, you can't campaign like him. Hillary, you can't campaign like him. Biden, you can't campaign. The only way Biden beat Trump in 2020 is because Pfizer waited 3 days after Biden went to announce that the vaccine was ready, that the Warp Speed project that Trump had in place, whether you're pro or not, I've never taken a vaccine, the COVID vaccine. I never took it myself. My wife didn't. Our kids didn't. But that was a big thing that was going on, that the left got the victory, that they got it done. Now, Trump, so many different things could have changed when he lost in 2020. And I know I'm not going to go through the whole conversation. If you want to win it, Cuomo, Adams, whoever, you got to campaign like your life depends on it. You're not campaigning like that. Videos are not going to win elections right now. You got to be seen like you're at 50 different places. Mayor of New York City, let's see who's going to outwork the other guy. The guy's 33 years old, hungry as F, going lights out with a terrible idea, but a terrible idea driven 100 hours a week, nonstop, 24/7, relentless, is going to destroy you. I had a call with a person, a very powerful person at the DOD last week while we're in the Hamptons. I stepped away and I had this call. And we're talking about Reza Pahlavi. Okay, and you know the individual that is trying to bring certain things to Iran. And he said, this is not a job for somebody that has a 3 o'clock appointment to golf every day and a 4 o'clock appointment to play chess with the kids and a 5 o'clock appointment. No. This is a job of somebody that has to be 24/7 full time. This is not for everybody. You ever watch Trump's schedule and ask yourself, do you work like that? The average person, if you watch Trump's schedule, do you work like that? Can you work like that? Do you drive like that? 24/7 cameras are on you and he shows up in a suit every single time? How often do you wear a suit? The average person listening to this, how often do you wear a suit? How long does it take you to wear a suit? How long does it take you to put on your tie? How long does it take you to put on the cufflinks? How long does it take you? Imagine how often do you like to be under limelight pressure? This morning I'm talking to my trainer. He's training a baseball player who was supposed to be a phenom, came into the major leagues. The first 20 games he hit 400. Everybody thought this was going to be the next big star. He trains here in our building. Nice guy, very good guy. You would know who the name is. But the moment he went through a slump, the internet attacked him nonstop on Twitter. And that attack in the comment section on Twitter messed with his head that he got out of baseball. This guy was supposed to make a few $100 million. Got out of baseball. Now, you want to go in the game, Cuomo's got the right pedigree that he knows what it is to get attacked. But if you want to win, you got to get to work. I don't think anybody in New York is going to be working like Mamdani. I think Mamdani is working like his life depends on it. I think everybody else working like
yeah, because he doesn't have another job. He doesn't have anything else to do.
But you have to realize, when you work like your life depends on it, that is a formidable opponent. Everybody else is working like their resume deserves them to be in there. Life doesn't give you the job and the dream that you want based on your resume.
Did you see that clip of? I know you. Did you see it? Kevin O'Leary talking about Steve Jobs'
of course,
hustle and work,
signal and noise and all that stuff.
How crazy! He was like
the
the 18 hours, the thing that I sent it to. We don't have to see it.
No, I've seen it. It's a great clip. But the point is, they got to work like that. You don't want to work like that. Like, you think Rogan got up there by luck? No. You think Trump got up there by luck?
Nope.
You think Michael got up there by luck? You think DeSantis, who's a governor in Florida, coming up middle, you think he got there by luck? Of course, we know the controversy with he and I. You think he got there by luck? You think Megyn Kelly got there by luck? You think Tucker got there by luck? You think Rock got there by luck? You go to any one of these guys.
Work.
Dude, there's a phase of your life where you're working literally like a slave for a couple decades. And if you want to do it again, you got to do it again now. I just don't see anybody in New York that's going to be willing to work that hard. I don't. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah. So most likely, New York, that guy's going to get elected. And guess what's most likely going to happen? You think
mass exodus to Florida?
Oh, bro. But people are like, well, Florida's going to be flatlining and all this other stuff. Here's the best way to judge Florida. If you believe New York is going to change policies anytime soon, don't invest into Florida. Bless you. If you think New York's policies going to continue being shittier, guess what? Florida still got plenty of room to improve and grow as a economy and as a market. I want to go to the next story here, the one about the shooters that we haven't gotten into. You know which one I'm talking about. Secret Service officials were aware of classified threat 10 days before the Butler assassination attempt, failed to tell agents guarding Trump. Rob, I think you got a clip on this one as well. The Government Accountability Office, GAO report, revealed that the senior-level Secret Service officials failed to share classified threat information with agents protecting President Trump on July 13, 2024, Butler, Pennsylvania rally where an assassination attempt occurred. Go ahead and play this video clip. Go for it, Rob.
This type of negligence, in my opinion, is not accidental. It's intentional. As you know, I am actually the chairman of the Declassification of Federal Secrets, and I've investigated one of the most famous assassinations in U.S. history. That's the JFK assassination. And in my opinion, the way that this was handled, not to mention, if you recall, I was actually able to directly interview the Secret Service director when she testified to Congress. And we had whistleblowers that came forward to Senator Hawley's office and stated that Secret Service never even met with local law enforcement. That angle in which the president was shot from was actually left, in my opinion, open. And this reeks of an inside job. I'm going to say it. I will tell you that they had plans for him to be dead, but God had other plans. And President Trump is blessed because of it.
By the way, if she gets to the bottom of this and finds out what's going on, some of the people may want to be pushing her to also give another project to her to get to the bottom of. It's a different project that people are curious about. Vinny, your thoughts on this here? Because apparently they suspended 6 agents over handling of Butler shooting, but they're still going through it. So what are your thoughts on the story?
So suspended 6 agents, and it's like another thing that bothers me is that the first thing was that Trump is giving the thumbs up to move on, and he's happy basically of how the investigation went up to this point. I don't know, Rob, they had something on the president. It's kind of like, yeah, I'm good. We can move on. And then you mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast. Out of the 92 rallies that Donald Trump had done, 92, guys, the one time CNN was streaming live was that one, okay? And please save the coincidence. Yeah, they were just there. He was going to make an announcement. No. With that being done by CNN, and apparently there was photographers there that had these cameras with lenses that really slow down, which is not good for a live event, to catch. And by the way, there was one shot where you actually see the bullet stopped in midair. Piling that lead up with the failure, and the only thing that happened was what? Kim Cheadle. Once the left realized, oh shit, sorry for my language, Joe Biden is not the guy. He's horrible. He's failing. The order was given. My question is, Pat, to all of you guys, who gives that type of order? Who gives the order to the head of the Secret Service that says, all right, guys, listen up. By the way, this is all, I'm just saying if they said in a meeting, guys, you know what? Biden's freaking failing horribly. Donald Trump looks like he's going to win. He's going to do all this. He's going to investigate. Let's take his ass out. Okay? Then the phone call's made and they go, okay, Secret Service, Kim Cheadle, everybody, step down, have them looking the other way. By the way, he was flying a freaking drone. Nobody gave a shit. And when people were screaming, guy on the roof, everybody turned and nobody gave a damn. He was on the roof in the building where Secret Service was inside. Massive failure. Thank God, only the ear was hit. Now there's reports that there was allegedly a second shooter, which that's what I believe. I believe Thomas Crooks was put up there like the idiot, call it MK Ultra, call it whatever the hell you want, and there was another shooter that was on top of the freaking water tower. Because there's no way. It doesn't make sense. This guy had 6 cell phones. The father, they interviewed the father. They're all being protected. They cleaned his house with a freaking like a white glove service. Nothing adds up, and I'm just curious, who gives the order that says, Kim, Cheadle, all you guys, put the worst agents on here. Nobody's going to get in trouble. He's going to be dead. President Biden's going to be president. We're going to move on.
We know for a fact it's not Biden.
Oh, thank you. 1,000%
we know for a fact it's not Biden.
It's not him.
If Biden didn't do all those pardons and others used the auto pen to do it, we know for a fact Biden wasn't responsive enough to be behind that issue.
That's great point. It's definitely not Biden. So at what, because this is what I feel, Vincent Oshana feels, and I'm pretty sure some of our viewers do too. The decision was made. We have to take him out. He's going to win, period. You saw Joe Biden, didn't know what the hell he was doing. We have to do. I'm just so curious of who makes that call. Who makes that call, Tommy?
When you go back to the Kennedy assassination and you can step past all the speculation and you just look at how the Secret Service agents behave when the cars turned.
Yeah.
There was one agent, who called 2 guys off the back of
and he was
car,
like, "What do you
drop back?" And the other 2 agents raised their arms like,
Why?
Yeah. What are you doing here? And so we can see that. We see a few other things that happened, the Kennedy assassination. And so you don't have to have the CIA pull the trigger. You don't have to have the Secret Service pull the trigger. You can have the CIA and others control the Secret Service, which is what many people believed happened with JFK. So was there, it was somewhere, nothing to see here. No, we get threats all the time, man. Don't worry about that. We get threats all the time. We're going to share data with the local yokels, and that's what they call them. Local yokels is what they call the local police. And they said, and we'll take care of it. And so I want to see a Warren Commission, not chaired by Alan Dulles. Yeah. I want to see a Warren type commission here to look at all of this, to look at the failures to learn. And even if everything else is covered up, I want the failures to be identified so that all presidents, regardless of party, are safe in the future. And there's so many things here that just that kind of stink. They sanitized the roof and then they hosed it down.
They hosed it down
really
to the crime scene.
They went to his house and took everything. And you know what echoes in my head is when Ann Coulter talked about Diddy, and she said, when the police arrive really, really quick and there's a whole lot of police and stuff, I'm paraphrasing. I don't want anybody to think I'm misquoting her. But she said, when the police are there, sometimes it's what they're taking, not what they're finding.
Wow.
They're there to remove some things and say, yeah, we gotta
weird.
We have to do this. It's Pulp Fiction, Harvey Keitel, The Cleaner.
Yeah, The Cleaner.
Get
yeah,
me the
wolf.
Give me the wolf. We gotta get the cleaner. And I think that's what's going on here. There's so many things in Butler that stink, from the number of shots to the the why don't we know anything about a kid? Oh, every kid needs 3 burner phones and to call international.
Yeah, international.
Adam,
call.
what are your thoughts on this? I got one last story I want to do.
Yeah. 1 year ago, the Butler shooting could have changed the course of American history, and thank God it did not. I remember you guys were in the Hamptons at that time. I think I was traveling, and I remember it was, oh my God, you see what's going on here? Oh my God. And that video got replayed over and over and over again. That was the moment, I officially remember this, where I was like, man, how can you not vote for this guy at this point? All the stories about this guy, he's un-American, he's so sell himself out, he's a Russian asset. That was the moment. This guy got shot in the ear and gets up and starts yelling, fight, 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 ear bleeding. I said, that guy's got ultimate respect for me at this point. Don't forget, it was about a week earlier that Joe Biden had the biggest debacle on the debate stage ever. It was a week after that Joe Biden basically reluctantly dropped out of the race. It was a week after that they basically catapulted Kamala Harris to the top. Meanwhile, Trump was the most badass thing I've ever seen from a politician ever. Even Mark Zuckerberg, who's been a sort of a vocal Trump hater, was like, dude, that was freaking badass.
Yep.
And thank God he made it through, because now we're seeing the first 6 months of quite possibly the greatest administration in our lifetime. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. I don't know. I'm not in on the conspiracy thing. I'm not in on the second shooter thing. That's not my lane. I try to live in reality. And the reality is this. Thank God Donald Trump is alive and doing what he's doing. And God bless America.
So you don't again, because Adam, there's nothing that you believe the government in any case all the time, no matter what.
That's not
there's
what I said
nothing.
at all.
No, I'm
Not
just
what
saying.
I
No, I'm saying you
said
said
at
you
all.
don't believe in the conspiracy, but what I'm asking you is, let's go. Like, do you think that there'd be any way that the government, the sitting government, would be like, you know what, we got to take this president out? Tom just made a point that the JFK assassination, everybody was involved. The CIA was involved. They
To answer your question, Vinny, yes,
You believe
I could see that.
You can see what?
I could see nefarious people doing nefarious things behind closed
so
doors.
it's not a theory.
Yes,
it's just
but it
you
doesn't
never
consume
know.
my life
It's not
like it
consuming
does for other people.
Adam, when a story comes up, you act like people are sitting at home thinking about this shit. We're on a podcast, we talk about it, and average Americans live their life. But when something comes up, we address it. You automatically think I'm thinking about this shit all the time. He brought it up.
you
it's
are,
a story.
and that's
No, it's
fine.
not.
That's cool.
When's the last time I even talked about the assassination? He
No,
just
you're
brought
too
it up.
busy living in Epstein land.
Oh,
I get
okay,
it.
yeah. Okay,
I'm
Adam.
talking about this story. I'm saying the realpolitik, the pragmatic view is, thank God he didn't get shot in the face. Thank God there was that beautiful
Yeah,
chart.
Thank God he made it. But
And
my
turned
thing
around.
is, who was behind all the shit, all
I
the
don't
failures?
know.
One last
And neither
story.
do you.
One last story.
I
but
wanna find out.
I think what I want is I also want to know who the hell was behind it. I'm curious.
Yep.
Because if this would have gone in a different way, America would have had Biden or Kamala as president today. Imagine America with Kamala or Biden as president today. Holy moly. It would have been a very different America. Last story before we wrap up. News just came out. Gavin Newsom was on a podcast with Sean Ryan. While he's doing a podcast, CNBC releases which state is the #1 economy in America for 3 years in a row, Rob. If you can post that picture, guess what?
Bingo.
For the third year in a row, Florida's #1 in economy, according to CNBC 50-state analysis for 2025. Every day, I'm at the cigar lounge the other day at the board. I'm hanging out with some of the members. One guy comes up to me and says, look, I want to let you know this. I just moved here because of the top 10 reasons why you moved to Florida. That was one of the reasons my wife. If I tell you 500 people in Florida have stopped me and told me they moved here because of that video, or people that are moving here, business owners, that's a small number. Regularly, people bring it up about the fact that they're moving here for how amazing the state is, okay? My concern is, with what just happened in New York, shit could get really crazy here in Florida. I had an Armenian family at the house this weekend. Folks I've known for many, many years. You actually know them as well. They were at the house. And I said, just want to prepare you for this. There's a city in Florida that's waiting for all Armenians And most of the job creator Armenians that have conservative values, not the crazy nutcase Armenians that are on the leftist, LGBTQ, anything goes, transgender, do the surgery, the city owns your kids, the communists, all those guys, no, those guys stay in Glendale. Glendale deserves you to stay there. But for all the other people that are job creators, that are sensible family parents, that are like, dude, this is crazy shit what's going on over here. I want to be able to allow my kids to go outside and play at this park on Adams, or go play basketball at R.D. White or John Muir, or, go to Shoal Canyon and play baseball like a regular kid does. I'm worried about some of the stuff that's going on. There's a city in Florida that's been waiting for you guys. It's called Boca Raton. I'm not the mayor of Boca. I don't live in Boca. I used to live in Boca. Armenians will love Boca. But watch what happened here. Look what they're talking about in the state of Florida. And Tom, I'm going to come to you, and I'm going to do one last dig at Lakers, and then we'll wrap it up. Is that fair with you, Vinny?
I love it. I love it.
A tale of two Floridas, okay? Real estate industry torn over DeSantis' push to eliminate property taxes. What? This guy's going to cut property taxes? Are we serious? You didn't talk about property. Rob.
We talking about taxes?
We're talking about taxes, property taxes.
We talking about taxes?
Property taxes.
Not a game.
No.
Not an income.
Property taxes.
Not a game.
Play this property tax DeSantis video.
What is going on?
And I'm going to read this article. Go for it, Rob.
Citizens to higher taxes, such as higher property taxes, to pay for these spending habits. And, these property taxes, it's like you buy a home, you buy land, maybe you buy the home outright, but maybe you pay off a mortgage over 30 years. And then, okay, you've paid off the mortgage, you bought the land, you've been taxed many times. It's like, is it your property or not? Just for being on your property, you got to write a check to the government every year. So you're basically paying rent to the government to live on your own property. And our homestead exemption is not strong enough to help these folks because the property gets assessed so high. And that's the thing. If you buy a home for $300,000 and there's certain tax, well then what? 10 years later, they say it's worth $700,000, and so and they say there's homestead stuff that helps protect you to a certain extent, but you're paying more, and a lot of people can't afford that. So I think that that's a big issue, and I know we're going to be really looking at ways to bring people relief from that, because I think it's been really something that's pinching a lot of homeowners, particularly seniors on fixed income. But the reality is people have seen, and this is not the state, we don't control this, we've not allowed any of that stuff to happen. We've been cutting taxes, but people have seen their property tax liability go up over these last years because the property is being assessed higher and higher. And the reality is you don't really know how much your home is worth until someone offers you money and is willing to pull the trigger on a sale. That's how a market works. You can say it's worth this much, but if no one's willing to come and offer you that much, then why should you pay taxes on that amount? And so there's a lot of things that need to be done with that.
It's a little too much logic there, and I love it, okay? It's a little too much logic there, and I love it. He's making a very good point. You paid off the house. Why are you still paying for it? Like, is this a land lease or do I own this damn place, right? So it's a very good point. However, the Florida Policy Institute reports that property tax generates $55 billion annually, accounting for 18% of the county's revenue, 17% of municipal revenue, and up to 60% of public education funds, with Budge Husky, President CEO, Premier Sotheby's International Realty, stating, when you look at the amount of revenue that is collected in property tax within the state and the implications, if the math is wrong on any of this, especially in the absence of clarity as to alternative funding, to suggest that an investment of $1 million, which is pittance compared to what we are looking at shifting in terms of revenue, it makes no financial or business sense. So, Tom, great idea, noble idea. Of course residents will love it. Do you think it's going to get done, and do you think it's the right move to make?
Well, there's two steps to it. First of all, I believe that Ron DeSantis is thinking right, and what he says is when people retire, they're on fixed income, and if they bought a place for $300,000, they sold their place in New Jersey, and they bought a place down here, he's like, the $300,000 number, that's the number you pay taxes on. So his first point is the assessment keeps going up. So if the house is thought to be worth more, then you're expected to pay taxes on it. But he's saying, wait a minute, you don't know what it's worth until you actually have a transaction. Everything else is just speculation. And things go up and down. So the first thing he's saying, hey, let's get the $1,000 rebate check and homestead discounts. Number one, That's a good thing. Number two, let's freeze property values after you buy it. So older person on fixed income bought a place for $300,000. They know what the tax rate is on it. That's what they pay. The other side of it is people in Florida, the Democrats in Florida, are hungry for the money. Absolutely bloodthirsty, hungry for the money. And they want the housing market to pick up speed, because every time a house is sold, the new higher value is the new tax value. So when home prices are going up and transactions are happening, it's really good for Democrat tax business. That's how they make it. And it also becomes, a challenge for the average person. So now what happens if you freeze it all? If you freeze it all, then you end up in a position where you may have to consider increasing sales tax or a VAT, a value-added tax on whatever you buy. Now, the reason that people like me say VAT is fair, because if that guy wants to buy a Lamborghini, he's going to pay a tax on a Lamborghini, a big tax on it. You're going to buy a Prius, you pay the tax on it. So VAT tax is also called consumption tax. You're taxed on what you consume. Want to buy more? You're going to pay tax on each thing you buy. Don't want to buy more? Going to live a more modest life? Then guess what? The tax is far less. So I love the idea of the homestead exemption. You're being expanded, and rebate checks for the tax-paying property people. But what would interest me far more would be freezing, the counties. 'Cause remember, the counties do the property tax vintage. You know that? It's actually the county, not the state. The county you live in, and you need to say, hey, what are the property taxes in Broward County specifically, this zip code where I live? Oh, well, you're at 2.1. Well, maybe Palm Beach County, Boca is 1.9. Now, I'm not getting those numbers exactly dead on right, but it'll vary a little bit. And so the county determines it. And so I think that the governor's leadership on this is going to help affordability for Florida, but you got to pay for fire trucks and police and roads and streetlights at work somehow. And that's probably, if you fix the property tax problem, I think you probably need to head the direction of a VAT or a consumption tax. Gotcha. Because you got to pay for all these things.
Which hurts and helps who?
A consumption tax? It basically is fair for everybody, because if you buy more clothes and you buy a bigger car, you pay more tax, but it's the same percent you pay tax. And if you're on fixed income and you're living very humbly, you don't pay a lot of tax. You pay for food, electricity, your cell phone, you got your house,
So the money's going to come flowing from somewhere.
Correct.
Whether it's going to be from property tax or not, we got to get the money from somewhere.
But property tax continuing to reassess and go up does not help retired people and fixed income. And that's one of the points that the governor's making.
Yeah. Well, listen, the fact that he's presenting an argument the way that he does in a logical way is the reason why I don't know a lot of people that don't love their governor in the state of Florida. And if they do, they're on the opposite end. But the people that are working, what clip is this, Rob, with Newsom? Is he talking about DeSantis?
No, this is Gavin Newsom talking about President Trump, talking about him masquerading in fate.
And cusses. He cusses and he says "G damn" and tries to apologize twice. He cusses. He cusses
just to juxtapose the two
because
governors.
he thinks it makes him look tough. He's being coached.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All that reputational damage that's being done as they're sitting there on horses with American flags running through soccer fields, scaring kids that are playing soccer in the middle of the day at a summer camp. For what? Just toughness. It's a weakness masquerading as strength. That's what I don't like about this son of a bitch.
Ooh, that's
I don't.
President.
And forgive me, I know he's the president of the States. Forgive me, I didn't,
Ready?
Yeah, he calls me new scum. Come on.
Because you are.
How do I explain that to my kid? Now I have my kids' friends calling my kids new scum. That I get, because I was called that in 7th grade, but not by a 79-year-old. Model better goddamn behavior,
Look at
man.
this guy, just demon.
Forgive the goddamn.
Like, just a walking, talking contradiction.
Well, he's doing good with the conservative faith vote there.
Nobody would call you new scum if you weren't a scumbag.
No, but that's not the...
No, I'm just saying.
But I just want to tell you also, I understand what he's saying. Okay? I get it. That to say things like new scum and stuff like that, it's probably not the right approach. But guess who it is? It's Trump. That's who it is. That's your opponent. So you're not going to change your opponent. You either make your opponent adjust to you or you adjust to your opponent. That's the opponent you're facing. When the Bulls are facing the Knicks in the playoffs, and after game one, they get slaughtered, I think it's 93 or 94, Michael comes out and says, hey, if we thought we were going to come in here and take this thing, it's going to be done, we're out of our minds. And it eventually goes to game 7, and game 7 is when he calls his dad and he says, I asked my dad, what do you think I should do? He says, look, if you lead and they don't follow you, it is what it is. He says, so I went in game 7 and boom, took the whole thing. And Knicks were supposed to go to the finals. You were in New York when this happened. So you going against freaking Trump. What are you talking about? Second, he should have never said that this upset him. He should have never said that this upset him because Trump's just going to love it even more. Never. He should have never shown vulnerability there. Not with Trump. He should have never shown that.
Get ready for a summer of pokes.
He was going to say new scum more. Now he's going to say it 100 times more. No, you shape the kid's mindset before you go into politics and say, here's what it's going to look like. My son has the same name as I do. What do you think I have to prepare for this guy when he goes to different campuses and schools? Hey, son, your name is Patrick B. David. You're screwed, okay? And you are lucky. You got both. Because it's going to be both a good thing and a bad thing. You're going to go through it. You better be ready for it. When you go with we don't have a last name like Jones or a traditional last name like Martirosyan or a common last name as some of these other people. We have a Bet David, okay?
It's two of them.
Yeah, it's two of them. Bet and David together. Anyways, all right, gang. One thing I want to share with you guys, for those of you guys that tag me on Instagram with all the pictures that and all the ways you watch the podcast, can you do me a favor? Take a picture right now on exactly how you're watching a podcast. I'm actually curious. Go on X, post it, tag us, put the hashtag PBD podcast. I want to know how you watch the podcast. And if you have Future Looks Bright gear, put it on. I just want to know how you watch the podcast. Do you watch it on TV? Do you watch it on phone? Do you watch it on a computer screen? Do you watch it on an iPad? Do you use a bad phone, an Android phone? I mean, what would you use a VPN in Iran, underground? Are you guys like in the underground, like watching it in a in a bunker? Where do you watch the podcast? How do you watch it? Tag us, put it on X. I'm actually curious. I may retweet a couple of them. We wonder how you guys watch the podcast. And if you enjoyed the podcast, press subscribe as well. I want to get this thing to 10 million subscribers. And again, appreciate all of you guys for joining us. Rob, I think tomorrow, what do we have? Oh, you know who's going to come on the podcast today? Somebody very interesting. I can't tell his name. Don't say it. We got somebody very interesting on the podcast today. And but who's going out tomorrow? Do we have a...
no, that'll go out Friday. Thursday, we're back home team live.
Okay, Thursday back
Are you
home
doing
team.
anything Lakers? You said you were going to crap on them.
I forgot about the Lakers thing.
Are you going to do it?
Nah.
Okay.
I mean, look, Luka Doncic finds out that the Lakers are for sale before LeBron, and the Lakers are thinking about trading LeBron to somebody else. I think LeBron is right now shopping different options, going back to Miami, going to the Mavs, going to the Cavs. There's a couple other places that maybe he goes to Golden State Warriors. They're actually openly entertaining a trade for him to go somewhere.
So you might be watching Lakers again.
I have not. Can you tell me the day the Lakers signed LeBron James? What is the day?
That's when you literally stop.
What is the day the Lakers signed LeBron James? What is that day? Okay, can you find the day? 2017, 2018? What's the day? The day...
Really?
July 8th is the last time I rooted for the Lakers.
Wow. Happy anniversary. This was almost
I
7
have
years
not
ago.
rooted for the Lakers since the day before LeBron went to the Lakers. Wow. I've not worn a Lakers jersey. Wow. And if I have, it was because I was walking my dogs and I had nothing else close to me. But the day he leaves, you're going to see me wearing the Lakers gear again. Wow. And sporting it
That
again.
was the day I became a huge Lakers fan. There
I know, because you're a LeBron fan.
I'm a Heat fan. Everybody knows I'm a Heat fan.
God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Bye.